mamhanyirana anchita nemotikari kutange benzi kundisvike ndiite live tigowane masoko ine vana vezimbabwe mhanya nemotikari kunge benzi ndikati mwari pindirai chipindirai yave ndichauya kusina mai ndimikani ndimi chete munogona kutonga vakaremara Jehovha chipindirai yavenja Zimbabwe yacho ndiyo chipindirai yave ndichauya kusina mai kune rima Jehovha chipindirai kugadzirisa flag reZimbabwe achimwene Yusufu kuno zvinhu zviri sezvo achimwene zviri kufamba tinotenda mavhura nendaza pakaipa tinge tichivhura nemunamato ndachiona mamhanyirana achita nemotikari nichimhanya kuti ndibate nguva but ndaibata saka ndachingosvika panapa pandichibva ndarikugara panapa ndisandatanga zvekutaura regai ndikukwasei vana veZimbabwe makadii mese kumativi mana enyika kwamuri ini ndoitwa nyishe padhiudha toda kusangana pachirongwa chanhasi tichitaura why the Zimbabwe government utilize state apparatus or security to initiate violence. At the end zvinenge zvakuita kunge state ndo ine monopoly of initiating violence. It's very unfortunate, guys. I've got to go early tonight because of some commitments which I did not finish this afternoon. I've got to make my plans. I've got lessons tomorrow. I have to make my teaching plan and so forth. Nofana kuplana weekend unoita mangwana no revise aho. Unoziva kuti teacher maths is not all that is maths. Unofanira kuti ukasvika pamberi pevana vechikoro you feel confidence, you have confidence. Regai nimboona kuti there's something wrong chandisiri kuona panapa, pane something chandisiri kupuwa zvakanaka. Regai tione no mwari ona hanzi ndaza yenyenyedzi iri kunamata nesuwo tave kunamata nesuwo tave kunamata. Zvinenge zvakureva kuti iwewe neni tiri vanhu vakasikirwa kunamata. Inini chandinogara nichitaurira vanhu vatema musine nguva idzi hanzi muri sei mukoma Yudha makachena mwana wababa. Thanks mukoma Patrick, thanks so much. Nhasi ndaenda kuchikoro kunodzisa ndakapfeka yellow ndikati yellow regai ningopinda pano nimbodzidzisa zvishoma nini ndakapfeka yellow. Christopher Nyoni, how are you? Makadii vana veZimbabwe? Nhasi pandanga ndiri kuchikoro ndatomboti wotarisei WhatsApp messages and so forth. Ndikanzwa vana veZimbabwe vachema vari kuSouth Africa. One of my brothers down south sent me a message. Hanzi inini nameplamba. Ndakadaidzwa kunzi pane basa pana parikuda plamba. Ndobva ndamhanya. Saka ndasvika ndakutanga kuda ndiite basa rere. Pakabva pasvika mwanhu kuSouth Africa. Then they started asking me, where are you from? I said I'm a Zimbabwean. She goes, can you leave that job you are doing? We've got South Africans who are qualified to do that job. Because I knew these guys are serious. They might wring my neck with a tire and set me alive. So I just left the job, took the equipment, and then left. Thank you so much. The issue why the Zimbabwe government utilizes state apparatus, state agencies as violent machinery. This is why you see Zimbabweans are dotted all over the world. It's not because tukuti zamare yekutadza kutenga chingwa taibika zvimodho wani taibika zvidudu pana vanhu vasina kumbodya chidudu here panapa. Chidudu chinotonaka kupfuura chingwa. Chingwa chaicho inini ndiri kumusha ndasingadye chingwa here. Taiti mbuya wakabika chidudu ndochandaiswerera nchidya. Taikama mukaka tichibika tii. Mukaka wedu unobva mumombe tonobika tii, tonwa tii hobvu. Waiti dzimwe nguva kana musina shuga taisvinira nzimbe chaicho, kusvina nzimbe dziyadzi totoisa mutii, takutonwa tii, takuguta. Tatisina nyama, taingoenda kunovhima zvinonzi shiri zvemo zviti chiezvo zvihanga zvezvo. Taingotiya zvihanga zvezvo moisa chibage moita sei, moisa chidhibhura morova 10 mobvura monobika makutodya sadza. Tasina nzarawo. Chibage taingonorima kumunda toisa kuseru chogara mudura. Handi muri kuona. But pane zvimwe zvataishayawo. Mafuta taisvina tainosvinisa, taiti tikarima masunflower. Totora masunflower endo toenda pa growth point. Tosvika tosvinirwa mafuta. Andimona. Chinhu zvataishaya zvinhu zvishomanini because food, it was self-sustaining in our rural homes. But because there are certain things zvatinozodawo kuti atodawo ka TV mumba muzodiwawo kana kafoni muzodiwawo chi. That drove our children to go to South Africa. That was the first point. The second point that drove our children to leave our country, it was the violence that the state has been utilizing against the people of Zimbabwe. We are so hardworking. We can self-sustain. We can self-sustain, Zimbabweans, but because we don't have a government that takes care of its citizens, this is the reason why we are dotted all over the world. We ran away from state violence. As good as tomorrow kune roadblocks around Benon, Dayton, Springs every Thursday. It's so sad. It's so sad. One of our former leaders has just sent a message from South Africa saying, guys, can you look for people who can assist me to leave South Africa? And remember, when we were in MDC, at one time he became a security officer in the part. He was in charge of security. And he ran away. He went to Zimbabwe. But he has sent an SOS message to say, look, we are in trouble here. I need to go home. But I've got no means of going home. Mugabe used to send buses when things are like that. Remember, the first xenophobia, Mugabe sent buses to ferry Zimbabweans. But today we have got more Zupco buses from Belarus, which we bought from our own money. The government can't send those buses as an SOS. I was talking to certain people who will say, how do we know that this is Zimbabwean, this is Mozambican, this is Malawi? I said, it's very simple to identify a Zimbabwean. Because remember, Taiba, my Jackson and Nomba, when we were growing up, Zimbabweans, Nomba yawe no by Wapanap. So if you want to identify a Zimbabwean, if you look there, there is a mark, a number that shows you this is a Zimbabwean. My Mozambicans are not by Wapanap. If you look at a Mozambican, look at his left arm. Ukaona panapa pe Portuguese panapa pane number. Ababayiwe up. You can simply identify that this is a Moscan. Ma South Africans ukada kuona number yavo yakaita taiona kujeri. Vakaita tuma do tutatu and 4. I can't remember how many. Mabodo anobuda. You can identify that this is South African, this is Zimbabwean, this is a Mozambican. unjani yapila atete Ellen injani mkoma ndikuda connection ema youth leadership emasvingo province. I need to join. I will look for their contacts. It's easy. I will look for their contacts to connect on. So a lot of things have been happening, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why I am saying, rather than fighting the South Africans on their background, this is their country. This is their country. I was just talking to a friend from South Africa recently when I was saying, you know, you cause us to say you are brood of vipers because the way you kill Zimbabweans, I've never seen such brutality. If we ran away from a government that utilizes state agencies to kill innocent civilians, then we go to South Africa, you are killed for not holding a passport. For not holding a passport. Guys, let's imagine that you are burnt to death. You are bludgeoned on the streets of South Africa for not holding a passport. We don't control passport production. Passport production is controlled by the government. The government is failing to give us passports, and the people flee the country without passports. Do cross borders, jump my border. The government would rather take buses kunotora vanhu. This is what is most painful. Even Botswana inobaya panobaya Mozambique, yes. So you find that it's so painful that ZANU-PF is using those buses to ferry ZANU-PF supporters from all over the country to go for rallies. Things that we have seen for the past 43 years, rallies, that doesn't bring anything to the country. Our children, Zimbabweans, are being bludgeoned in South Africa, being killed on daily basis. The government cannot send those buses to go and ferry Zimbabweans who are suffering, who are struggling. A lot of Zimbabweans are crying. I was talking to certain Zimbabwean people. They said, oh, these people need to be vetted because we don't want people who can come back and cause chaos. Imagine, ZANU-PF supporters are barring Zimbabweans to return home. Chico, Mkoma Wellington, Mtando, how can you do that? Because the first thing a government does is to save life. Send those buses down South Africa. Those who want to go home can get ride and then go back home. If you want to vet them, that will be done after you have saved their lives. Because you cannot leave a Zimbabwean dying. Because as that Zimbabwean is rascal or radical or whatever, that Zimbabwean is a political activist. You can't leave that person dying in South Africa because he's a political activist, so you don't need that person in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is not a country that belongs to ZANU-PF. It's a country that belongs to the people of Zimbabwe. And every Zimbabwean must be home. Hanzi rufaro kwa muri mkoma yuda mkomaji zviru kufamba here. So you will find what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen. It's pathetic that we have got a government that is talking about vetting Zimbabweans to try and give them assistance. We have got in Pretoria, we have got a Zimbabwe embassy that hasn't been doing anything. That hasn't even issued a statement on the death of Zimbabweans in South Africa. All of a sudden, South Africans, amongst all African countries, decided to uprise to do xenophobia against their neighbors, the people of Zimbabwe. You know, you still remember in 1986 when the ANC offices in Avondale were bombed by the apartheid South Africa. And Zimbabwe suffered bombings. Zimbabwe suffered assassinations. On those bombings, some people died. Zimbabwe sustained ANC offices in its soil. Today, ANC is sending people to kill Zimbabweans. Imagine Ramaphosa sending South Africans to kill Zimbabweans. ANC offices were bombed in Bulawayo. In Harare, we lost quite a number of people in Harare. You were 13 minutes already, manja, and nakutopotsa drihora, and nakurowa drihora, atete Teresa. In that ono nokao, nangosvika vanhu vanagara patable. ndagara patable ndikatongomhanya kuti regai ndibatane nevana veZimbabwe. Saka I'm looking for quite a number of audience here, guys. 72 people. Ndatongotanga, but we need the more we come, the more we share the videos, the more we reach rural people and so forth. So I am saddened that all of a sudden the ANC that led to the bombings in Zimbabwe, where 𝗬𝗭𝗪𝗃𝗃 sister was killed. A lot of Zimbabweans lost their lives whilst apartheid South Africa was busy bombing Zimbabwe, because we harbored those ANC guerrillas. We were, even in Zambia, we were coexisting with we used to share same offices with the South African ANC, which is killing us today. Thank you, Asha. Which is killing Zimbabweans today. Anzi murise mgoma tave kutoda zvedu chamisa aitungamirire mabhaz zanu definitely. So I am not sure what Zimbabweans can do to make sure that those who want to be home, who wants to be safe, now they are going to do some roadblocks to try and flush out Zimbabweans. Right? The South Africans are going door to door, asking those South Africans who took Zimbabweans as lodgers to throw them out. Companies are urged to throw Zimbabweans out. At the end, you find the Zimbabweans all over the streets. Look at how Durban, 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 there, how the floods are. You have got kids outside. Your things will be washed away by those floods. That means if you have spent 10 years in South Africa, it's 10 years for nothing. You haven't worked for anything. You're going home empty-handed. And those properties that you bought in South Africa, you can't take them away. You can't take them home. You've got no transport. You've got nothing to transport those things back home. So things are very difficult for the Zimbabweans in South Africa. Companies throwing them out, landlords throwing them out, South Africans bludgeoning them on the streets. I don't know. I don't know. Whether ndimbuyananda wakagumbuka sezvo ZANU-PF chese chainotaura inosambuyana mukati. And the ZANU-PF, South Africans are saying Zimbabweans, they summoned 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 to come and write and investigate what the causes of violence. And 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 recommended to them, do this, do that. If they had done that, now Zimbabwe would be a better country to live. So you don't want to implement peaceful means of survival, of coexisting on your political party. So go home. This is what South Africans are saying. I was talking to another South African guy who said, guys, the problem with the Zimbabweans is when you go out in South Africa, my brother, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 song kaya kanoti vana kupe nana munzura karikudiwana mukoma naAteteGlad. What AteteGlad, let me find out if I can readily get that song, because zvinhu zvacho so varume zviri kurwadza. Ndokunonzi kubayiwa pangonyangara. Vamwe taitoti vamwe vamunana South Africa, vamwe tamunana UK, vamwe takuita sei, tinokwanisa kushanda tichiita sei tichibatsirana nevanhu vari kumba. But now things have gone out, guys. I don't know kuti handisi kukaona nekukasira kasong kacho aka akasi kuonekwa nekukasira atete. Regai ndizokatsvaga kanenge kari kachana I can't see it nekukasira because zvacho zviri kufamba. Handi makaona mamessages aipinda mufoni mangu nezuro, unototi Mwari ndinopedza rini kumaverenga, but tikakawana tinobva takatsemura. Let's continue. Ndakawana, regai ndimboka rova vanhu vambokateerera.
nehama dzose dzisati dzaziva ine shoko guru randinoda kukuudzai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 wave nebato itsva iri danho rakatorwa mushure paonekwa kuti zita reMDC rakange rasvibiswa nemhandu mwonzora komichina nakupene vamwe. Saka kana mave kuzoenda kunovhota munofanira kucherekedza kwazvo chiso chachamisa nemasi 3 pamwe neruvara rwemabhanana. Vhotera 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai pamasi 3. Voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai paruvara rwemabhanana. Voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai pamasi 3. Voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai paruvara rwemabhanana. Musanyengedzwa nebato rezanu muchipiwa mbeu nefoteza. Tinoda bato rinounza mabasa kuti mugozvitengera mega zvamunoda. Bato rezanu rauraya nyika muzere mbavha dzinoba zvikuru. Vanongozvifunga ivo vega momo yenyika ichikangawaya. Kana vouya kwamuri vanonyepa kuti masanction auraya nyika. Nyamba varivo vanouraya nyika nekuda kweuori hwavanoita. Votera 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai pamasi 3. Voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai paruvara rwemabhanana. Voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai pamasi 3. Voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai paruvara rwemabhanana.
hanzi voterai 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗄𝗏 voterai paruvara rwemabhanana. Mike zviri sei? Ngoma Erasmus ngakuti hanzi ndatapirirwa nekasonga. Hanzi kakarwa nakaxman naye mfana wechidiki. Saka aiwa tinofanirwa kumutenda mfana nekasong kari so beautiful kekuti pese patinokanzwa tinenge tichiziva kuti pane zvinenge zvaakuda kuita sei zvirikuda kuitika. Saka let's go guys, timbotaura nyaya ndaichitaura panapa. Inyaya yakanaka, nyaya yekuti why Zimbabwe. Can I come in? Pindai Amatunde. Why Zimbabwe? Why Zimbabwe? Why are we being victims? If you go to South Africa, we are victims. You go to the United Kingdom, we are deported. You go to Botswana, and this no sungwa. Tapinda Malawi, Zambia. Why Zimbabweans? Why? I don't understand. The song is hope. Yes, we definitely have hope. But the state is, does Zimbabwe enjoy monopoly of coercive power in its hands? Zimbabwe. is a country that uses coercive power, and they have monopoly of those coercive power in their hands. Are they supposed to continue to use coercive power against the people of Zimbabwe? We definitely have a useless government that cannot even voice when its citizens are being butchered. We've got a government that can only voice when black people are being killed in America by Americans. But when Zimbabweans are being killed in South Africa by South Africans, this government does not voice at all. Boni baba pipi, cheyuda banji baba pipi, tirimagwara yuda tinoshka kufa. But we are dying, Ngoma Onwell. We are dying in South Africa. We are dying in the UK. We are dying in Botswana and Mozambique. We are dying. You are dying in Zambia. If you go to South Africa, we die in a brutal way. Most of us are being shot. Most of us are being bludgeoned on the streets, set alight. You know why? What pains me most is those people who are being killed in South Africa, they are being killed for not possessing a passport. If you go to Zimbabwe, you don't own passport production. The government produces passports, but the government restricts every Zimbabwean to get a passport. You want to go look for a job elsewhere. You meet South Africans, they ask you, where is your passport? You say, I don't have a passport. Then you are killed. So sad. What's happening to Zimbabwe is heartbreaking, ladies and gentlemen. We are being killed by Africans in South Africa. Our government wrote a letter condemning American embassy and Americans for killing George Floyd. They never wrote a letter condemning South Africans for killing Zimbabweans. The people, the ZANU-PF youth, they wrote to their government to say they want to go and make a 𝗘𝘅𝗲𝗿 or 𝗘𝘅𝗲𝗿 at Zimbabwe, Harare, American embassy in Harare. But they failed to go and 𝗘𝘅𝗲𝗿 at South African embassy in South Africa. So what I'm doing is, for the next 2-3 weeks, I'm going to mobilize Zimbabweans, especially those on 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗰𝗶𝘁𝗍 or those Zimbabweans in the United Kingdom. If we don't show solidarity with our murdered brother at the South African embassy, that means we are doing nothing. Even here in the United Kingdom, Zimbabweans, we must go at South African embassy. Let's lead by example. Those varuma office let's meet at South African embassy, and we need to protest at South African embassy. If it means Saturday, Sunday, no matter how many days we need to take 𝗭𝗶𝗀𝗋's videos and play them at South African embassy. We need to show them that this is how 𝗚𝗏𝗎𝗔𝗏 was killed by South Africans, bludgeoned on the streets, set alight alive here in the United Kingdom. The world must know that the people harbored in South African embassy, they are the same people who are killing Zimbabweans back in Zimbabwe. We must demonstrate at the South African embassy in the United Kingdom. Those in America must do the same. Go to South African embassy and demonstrate against South Africa. Because we need to show solidarity with our murdered brothers. We need to show the world that, look, these people, we go to them. If you come to the UK, you find South Africans here. You go to America, you find South Africans there. They are never killed for being in America, never killed for being in the United Kingdom. They are not even killed for being in Zimbabwe. But they are killing Zimbabweans for being in South Africa. And we don't know for what reason. Zvinhu zvinorwadza kugwanata, zvinhu zvinorwadza. Hatina kuita magwara ekuti tinoiswa mataimu, todirwa petrol, topiswa, uchipwanyiwa musoro, ukabvunza chawaurayirwa, unza una passport. Inini, I don't produce passports. If I go to Zimbabwe embassy or if I go to registrar, I need a passport. It will take 6 months kubuda, 7 months kubuda. A passport document rofana kutora 2 weeks or 3 weeks is taking 7 months muZimbabwe. 1 year munhu asina passport. Tine vanhu vari muZimbabwe vakaita 2-3 years vakamirira passport abhadhara. Oenda South Africa ubvanzi tione passport. Someone demanding your passport in South Africa is not a policeman, is not an immigration officer. Pongwi zvake asina pende, ane pende yakabvaruka. Who is coming to you asking you for a passport? Atete bete, zvirise. Any South African. Zvafana zviri South Africa zvinofudza mombe zvezvi mbavha zvezvi. Zvinopfeka heti pasaida. Who will come and ask you for a passport. You ask him, are you an immigration officer? No. Are you a policeman? No. What do you need my passport for? Before you finish that sentence, you are bludgeoned, you are stabbed, you are shot. And problem we are divided on political grounds. We have got a government that is behaving like South Africans, killing Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe. If you see the bodies of those who were murdered in Zimbabwe, it is just the same way people are being bludgeoned by South Africans. Saka kubatana kwacho kunonetsa, atingakwanisa kubatana neZANU-PF. Azviite. If you guys, I always tell you guys here that if you saw the bodies of 𝗖𝗄𝗄𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗏, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 poked off sockets. They had tongues cut. They had their private parts removed. And they were killed by ZANU-PF people. They were killed by ZANU-PF people. Some don't even have money to apply for passports, yes. We are divided because we have got people who follow ZANU-PF. If we had people who do not follow ZANU-PF, we wouldn't be divided, guys. And Africa has got a problem. The problem with Africa is because of greediness. Greediness. We have got greed Africans who think Zimbabwe is their only property. Who thinks that a government is their only property. Exactly, Smomo. You can't be one thing with the people like Monzora, the people like 𝗭𝗶𝗺𝗃𝗄𝗏, Douglas Monzora. We can't be one people with those people. So atukwanise kuita chinhu chimwe chete, atukwanise kubatana. Give you really say atukwanise kubatana, guys. Because what I'm saying here is ZANU-PF government is exercising the power of cohesion using its state agencies. This is why you see the people of Zimbabwe, they run away. They use police to blush on people in town. They use police to arrest opposition politicians. They use police to disperse even a peaceful demonstration. That is Zimbabwe government. They use the army. They deploy armed soldiers with live ammunition in the CBD to shoot innocent civilians who are protesting. People who are demanding money, who are demanding food, people who are demanding jobs. The Zimbabwe government set soldiers against them and order them to shoot and kill those people. And that government does not even take action. If you see a government that does not take action against the soldiers who kill civilians, that means those people, those soldiers have been given green light by those people to go and shoot and kill innocent civilians. So we have got a government that utilizes state agencies to destroy Zimbabweans. A good example, we have got prisons. If you do anything, Makomborero spent 2-3 years in prison for no crime committed. We have got Vana Maenga Hama. They spent 10 years in prison for no crime committed. So we have got a government that uses all these state agents like prison, police to make sure that they silence the dissenting voices, sending people 10 years to prison for no crime committed at all. And they are stealing. They are stealing. That's true. And they use the courts. They also use the courts. It's so sad. I was reading an article here. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 It's so sad. I was reading an article that 𝗦𝗫𝐶𝗽 has been convicted as for marriage act what and did more. So the state uses courts. Ukasungwa ukaenda court. Sorry guys. What was the judges what to say, what to talk, how the judgment should come out. They can't even take people or comment panyaya kufa kwemzimba in South Africa, even it was the problem. Wonder, that's exactly what I'm saying. We've got a government that does not even comment on the murder of its citizens by South Africans. But they've got guts to challenge Americans to say, look, one American, a black American, was killed in America. Then the state, then Zimbabwe as a government would condemn Americans for killing one black man in America. They don't condemn South African government for killing many black people in South Africa. It's not only 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗲 who was murdered. If we give all the names of Zimbabweans murdered, a good example, 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃𝗲. I know about 10 guys from my neighborhood, 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗲, who were murdered in South Africa by black South Africans. 𝗦𝗲𝗰𝗶𝗃𝗃𝗏 flows really say mapinda amai mwana baba mwana varohwa nemunikwi. Kuturaya kuti zviende nemvura. The human body is a machine that requires diesel or petrol. Mvura ndo petrol yedu. Mchanga commended but was way off target. He blamed 𝗖𝗵𝗺 and whites instead. Why is SADC and AU quiet on this matter? SADC and AU are failed clubs at 𝗘𝘅𝗲𝗿. I've always said that SADC must be disbanded and replaced by something else. Africa Union must be disbanded and replaced by something else. Because look at ECOWAS. When Gambian president was defeated, ECOWAS, they went to remove to make sure that that Gambian idiot won't come back. You see, they safeguarded the people's will, and Gambia had a change of government. And he looks smart today, nice Samsha. Thank you, my man. Ndanonoka kusvika musaka mawana ndangochena kudai ndikakumbaya ndikati regaindi titandare nevanhu. Because now I'm not taking long, I'm here for a short period of time. My commitments actually want this. I've got to make my lesson plans right now. Tomorrow, my lessons are not going to revise. We have to go back and vote, guys. If you go to South Africa today, Zimbabweans are chucked out of their lodgings, so they are strewn outside. Companies are refusing to employ them. So you've got no job, you've got no food, you've got no accommodation. You live on the streets. And in those streets, these mobs are coming, burning you alive. Imagine those mobs plus a natural disaster, South Africa is flooded. Vanhu vakakandwa panze vaiva nhasi zvinhu zvanaiwa zvatakurwa nemvura. Unenge wakagara watarisa sofa rako richienda, wardrobe yako ichienda, TV ichienda. You can't save those things. You can't save them. There are floods in South Africa. Even cars are going. And more. That means even your documents, kana usina pawakamaisa kana pakanaka pekuti muri water resistant, they are all gone. And you have got children. You are staying outside. Your government, Zimbabwe government, can't send buses there to ferry those people back home. Then some people want to eat deep fare. We are talking of a disaster in South Africa. And anymore. Those munguwa pamunozoona ndichitaura kuti dai Mwari vainditendera vambondipa Zimbabwe ndamboitonga. Nomboita president weZimbabwe for just 5 years. Noda kuti muone kuti nyika inochinja sei. Dai Mwari vanditendera. Saka dambudziko rinozoitika nderekuti Mwari vakabva vandipa president 𝗬𝗁𝗄𝗊𝗇. And I have assessed, ukaona munhu wandosapota inini, musadherera. Ina handingoteere munhu. Ukaona munhu wandoteera inini kuti I'm supporting 𝗦𝗁𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏, I'm supporting 𝗬𝗁𝗄𝗊𝗇. Pakaenda vana mudhara Gibson Sivanda, handina kuteera vana Sivanda. Nekuti ndaitoona zviri kumberi kuti hakuna chiriko chinobudawo. Kwakaya Monzora aiti ndini president weMDC, hauzviti ndini. Ndakakuudzai ndikati ukunana Monzora kwa hakuna chinobudawo. Ukaona pandotsika inini gumbo rangu, tsikaiwe ipapo. Ukaona leader wandinofollowa inini, tsikai ipapo. I don't just praise a leader. I don't. Vanhu vanonyatsondiziva vanabita vanatendai biti vanokuudzai vanabiti kuti that guy does not even praise somebody. I am the only MDC. I was the only MDC supporter akachallenger 𝗦𝗁𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃. I challenged 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗃. Zvoda akapesera aseka azungudza musoro akati, hey, tine basa nana Yuda. Ukabvunza vanhu vaive kuHarare East, patakaita meeting kuna 5 Avenue, corner 5 na 4th, president vakagara apa, Biti akagara apa, Mbao akagara apa, 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀 akagara apa, vana Peter Mudavanhu vakagara apa, vana Fisher vakagara apa. Inini ndiri organizing secretary ndakagara apa, ndakatarisana naTsvangirai ndichimutaurira Mudhara facts point after point. Andimona nanhasi kana kuHarare East vakomana vari kutaura kuti ndiye chete the only person uyu akagona kuchallengea Mudhara Tsvangirai kusvika taita concede, kusvika Mudhara aita concede what I was demanding on that day. And this is why you see Mudhara Mbao, Timothy Mbao, he feels very free to talk to me. Tendai Biti is very free to talk to me. Vana Montelo vaitaura neni, vana Mutsamdzimu vaitaura neni. Because vaiziva kuti uyu munhu haaroembwa akaviga mupini, anoisa mafacts ake pachena mukuvara mega. Ndosaka mura ndichitaura kuti when I am following Nelson Chamisa, I don't just follow a leader because he's popular. No. I look at certain traits of a leader. And then I will set my foot there and say, right, the right person to follow is Nelson Chamisa. Vana Mugabe vaivepo, I never followed Mugabe because I knew that he is taking Zimbabwe nowhere. Vana Ngwena vakauya, I never followed them because I knew they are taking Zimbabwe nowhere. And we are having plenty of roadblocks here in Cape Town. Police are fishing out foreigners driving Uber and Bolt. Things are tough in South Africa. And anymore. Saka, when South Africans are doing that to Zimbabweans, the Zimbabwe government in Zimbabwe is using coercive power, utilizing the police, utilizing prisons, utilizing the army, utilizing the CIOs, utilizing the youth militias to use coercive power. All these people are like state agencies, and so they are utilizing all these people to punish Zimbabweans. We are being punished. I don't know for what reason. ZANU-PF government want us to obey its orders, and the orders are illegal. We cannot obey illegal orders. These are just greed politicians. who are hiding behind the army, behind the police, behind the prisons, behind the CIOs, to try and force us, to coerce us, to obey illegal orders. And we are saying no to the illegal orders. We are saying no to the illegal orders. Because we are not disturbing peace and order in our country. We are a political party that wants to be voted into power. And all political parties are equal. ZANU-PF is not even above another political party. This is why you see, if we go for an election, ZANU-PF always lose. So when they perceive or when they look at us, they must look at us as an alternative political party, as an alternative government, a government in waiting. We are ready to govern. I don't want to lie. 𝗭𝗶𝗺𝗃𝗃 is ready to govern. Even if we are thrust in today as the government of Zimbabwe, we are going to change the lives of people. Chimbondipaiwo masimba aya nimbotonga Zimbabwe, nimboitonga mbichana vanhu vambonyatsoona kuti chii chinonzi nyika inotongwa sei. As they telling the world the truth about Zimbabwe situation. I don't think he is back in Zimbabwe at the moment. 𝗭𝗶𝗺𝗯𝗃𝗏 is not back in Zimbabwe at the moment. Because you see, ZANU-PF went there, switched off lights, electricity at Harare International Airport. They were waiting for him. They thought he was landing. He's not there. I don't think he has landed in Zimbabwe yet. The Zimbabwe army be born again. Honestly, guys, what I'm looking at, if I become leader of Zimbabwe, I want to professionalize the army. I want to professionalize the police. I want to professionalize the prison. If you look at other countries that we have visited, if you come to the UK, a good example, you won't think that this country has got soldiers. You will never see soldiers on the streets. You don't see armed soldiers walking on the streets. You rarely find the soldiers wearing uniform on the streets in this country. You rarely find them. You rarely find the policemen holding firearms. You rarely find them. When there is need of firearms, they've got reactionary forces that can react to go and deal with anything that requires firearms. There is definitely there is a vacant. The president's office, there is a vacant there. We don't have a president. We have got a thug as a president. Ukanzwa slogan ekuti inokuratidza kuti oh, this is a thug. We don't have a president in our country. So we need a president in Zimbabwe. This is why you see I am saying, if God permits or allows me, I would definitely want to be president of that country. Because the office is empty. But God has given us a leader in form of President Nelson Chamisa, a capable leader for that matter, who has got a track record of success in everything that he has done in life. If you see ZANU-PF today, Chamisa has never been the president of that country. He wants us to vote for him to be president of that country. So look at what ZANU-PF people are telling you. This is Chamisa's house. This is Chamisa's business. This is Chamisa's this and that at his age. So it shows that he is a successful man. If you have such a successful man with ideas of building such a house, ideas of running such a business, ideas of being successful on his personal life, I don't think we need to throw that type of person away. And ZANU-PF iri kufunga kuti iri kumudestroy by showing us a house to say this is Chamisa's mansion. If he can build a mansion without dipping into state coffers, so that is the president that we want in our country. Zambia has got a similar president who has gone for 8 months now without state salary. hanzi mari yandofanirwa kuhura chiisai muvanhu vasina mari dzokuenda kuchikoro vana vadzidze mahara. This is a national duty. I mustn't be paid undaita a national duty. Those are the type of leaders we are looking for. I don't know why they want to punish 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗀𝗃𝗃 for. I don't know. So I understand 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗃 is issued or is tweeted that he's safe and so forth. I don't think he's in Zimbabwe at the moment. But they were waiting for him. They thought he could land there and they wanted to impound him. You understand? So, as a political party, 𝗭𝗶𝗺 is not disobeying the law and order of Zimbabwe. It is just a political party that they apply to the police. We want to hold a rally here. And the police is the one that is restricting them, being used as a coercive force by Zimbabwe government. And they deny a 𝗭𝗶𝗺 to hold a rally. As Nas, don't sing Dora because you are smart today. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. And the state, Zimbabwe government, this is when I say the state, I refer to Zimbabwe government, or I mean Zimbabwe government. The state claims authority to rule, or the state claims authority to run a country, and that authority, Zimbabwe government is deriving that authority from its state agencies. By when they are ruling us, they are using illegal sanctions against us. We did not commit a crime. To be born in Zimbabwe is not a criminal offense. We never committed a crime by being born in Zimbabwe. But the state is punishing you, is punishing me for being Zimbabweans. And Saga, they used popular sanctions against us. They used coercive sanctions against Zimbabweans. They send us to prison. They kill us. The government is killing us for no apparent reason. If you ask the government what is 𝗖𝗍𝗻𝗃 committed to deserve disappearing from this world, the government does not have an answer. So when a government exercises such powers, utilizing illegal sanctions against the people of its country, issuing illegal orders to the police and army to say go shoot and kill these people, then we don't have a government. That means if we don't have a government, there is no head of state. Zimbabwe's president is a vacant post that needs someone to fill it. The people of Zimbabwe, including the army, police, CIOs, prisons and so forth, they are crying that they need a president. They need a leader. They don't have a leader. They don't have a president. This is why you see, even ukaenda kumakempi where these people live, ZANU-PF has lost elections. And I'm so saddened. I've received a list of Bulawayo policemen who are being victimized, being transferred from one political station to another. Assistant inspectors have been reshuffled in Bulawayo, kunana magwego, ma police stations. Vachiendeswa kuma rural, vachiendeswa kupi, because they never voted ZANU-PF or they refused to vote ZANU-PF. Why are they losing in those armed forces camps? It's because those people do not trust them at all. Even those people who guard Mnangagwa, they don't trust him. They don't vote him. So ZANU-PF is just a terror group, a terrorist group that is being led by a gangster who does not care about how Zimbabweans live, who uses these coercive powers just to sanction people. To sanction people who uses illegal laws to sanction Zimbabweans against her. Anongomuka achingotaura nhasi izvi ndo zvandiri kuda, izvi handizvidi. Andinoona kuita Zimbabwe kuita ngetoilet yekuti paanofunga kudhota anongovhura dho, pinda udhota, ubuda uenda. Hapana anomubvunza kuti mudarasi musina kuflasha panapa. And I watched an interview of 𝗬𝗵𝗀𝗃 uttering same statements of armed police or killing civilians. Yes. It's so sad, Skumile. It's so sad. What we need as Zimbabweans, we need a government that has got an ability to secure compliance of its orders without using coercive power. We need a leader who understands the situation Zimbabweans are facing, so that he can stop. We need a leader who can stop using coercive power to force compliance of illegal orders. We don't want illegal orders. This is why you see Zimbabweans uprise, Zimbabweans protest. Because once illegal orders take center stage, we are not going to comply against those illegal orders. We are going to resist them. This is why I'm urging Zimbabweans that this is the time to resist those illegal orders as we march towards 2023 elections. If we don't resist those illegal orders, that means we will continue to flock South Africa, and roadblocks don't stop in South Africa. Those who ban us with tires, they won't stop banning us. Because when they look at us, they blame us. You don't have a passport. They blame us. Why are you running away from your country? They blame us. So it's all up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Those in South Africa, property yenyu iri kutakurwa nemvura iri kuenda, madocuments ese ari kunuya losing, unenge une vana panze uchinaiwa nemvura, mafloods akazara, unorara pai? Yakwa kusina mafloods waiti unorara pasi pemuti. Pasi pemuti pacho kaparara vanouya maSouth Africans usiku nevana vako moiswa matai, motemwa mopiswa. So you find that the only solution is to go back home. And when you go back home, you are going to face a government which utilizes a coercive power to say, obey what we want you to obey, comply with what we want. Whilst we all know that we can't comply with illegal orders. So what do we need to do? We have got a chance. We have got a chance in Zimbabwe. We have got a chance. Our perhaps last chance in life. 2023. If you don't vote for President Nelson Chamisa 2023, you are done. Wakutoziva kuti wakutofa usina chaunacho. Vazhinji vedu takaenda mumhiri kwegungwa, hatina chatakawana, kuna chatakanoita. Vaindiseka vanhu vaiti, hey, uri kuunganidza madegree, hey, uri kuunganidza chii? Ndikati at least ndikabva panapa kana ndikatiza kuenda neimwe nyika, I can go still tell them I'm a qualified nurse. I'm a qualified forensic scientist. I'm a qualified teacher. If I go anywhere where they want teachers, I'll go and teach. If I go anywhere where they want nurses, I can go and work as a nurse. If I go anywhere where they want forensic scientists, I can go lab technicians. I can go there and work as a lab technician. And murgona, vamwe vaindiseka vachiunganidza motikari muSouth Africa. Vazhinji vachiti hana zvaari kuita kuUK. Vamwe vachinditanza hana mubhedha wokurarira. Ndikati mubhedha ndonhonga murudi kana ndichiuda. But what I possess in my brains, nobody can take that away. Vanogona kutora zvinhu zvavo zvonopwanya, zvimotikari zvavo vonoisa kuma-scrapyard vopwanya wondidzinga muno. But kwandiri kuenda ndinenge ndakabata mapepa ekuziva kuti ndokwanisa kusvika pano kuti gogoi ndikuda kubasa pano. Ndokwanisa kudzidzisira ivo vana venyu maths. Munotokupa so much. Mune lab, muruda kuita mulaboratory menyu, ndokwanisa kushanda mulab menyu. Pinda apa, shanda apa. Mune varwere mune chipatara, ndokwanisa kubayawo majekiseni nekupawo nekuverengawo zvanyorwa nachiremba nchipa mushonga unonzipinda panapa. This is the last chance, exactly. The last chance for Zimbabweans. It's 2023. Nyaya yekutya kufa inofana kupera. Lemkomakosi zviri sei. Nyaya yekutya ndo yandiri kutaura panapa. Inofana kupera, but haipere kana uri ku foreign land. Because veku South Africa vacho havasi mapurisa vari kutiuraya. Havasi masoja eSouth Africa vari kutiuraya. Imbombera mob inenge vana Mnangagwa iri kutiuraya. Saka tikasasha kufa tichiurohwa nevanhu mamob, munhu wainoona yedu doro chaiyo, nhasi will team up with other South Africans and blush on you to death. Andimona ukauya kuZimbabwe tirohwa nemamilishia tichiurawa chipisirwa dzimba nevanhu vane mamatches, greed idiots with matches. Saka zviri nani kuti tirege kutya kufa tiri munyika medu. Bozi ukafira South Africa kwacho vamwe vanhu tunotadza kuretrieve mabodies. Ndachema our former security officer ku MDC, tichiri ku MDC, asenda in SOS. Guys, kana pane vanogona kundibatsirawo ndikwanise kuenda kumusha. Kana pane ane tsitsi anoda kundibatsira ndikwanise kuenda kumusha. Zvinhu zvinorwadza guys. And ukada kuona what is causing all this. What is causing all this? These are all results of bad governance in our country. Ma results ekutadza kutonga kwevamwe vanhu 43 years vachitadza kutonga nyika. So the results, we are now getting the results of bad governance. 43 years of bad governance. These are the results that we are seeing. People being killed in South Africa. If you go to Zimbabwe, unongo vamirwa nemasoja, mapurisa nemagadi nejeri rakakumirira. Ande murikona. Makosi anenge akakumirira, masiyaiwo akakumirira. Kana uchinge wadzokera kumusha. Kana uri muSouth Africa, induku dzinenge dzakakumirira, matai nedhiziri zvakakumirira kuti upiswe, utsve, ufe. Tiri kuita kunge fodya mutsanga. Uku wakarumwa uku hakuna kwaunoenda, uku wakabatidzwa dhedhe, uri kubhemewa, uri kupera, tiri kupera. Makore ari kufamba. Our victory is being delayed. No, kada sana Monzora nana Monzora nana Kupe. People who have delayed our victory for the past 22 years. People vana obeti gutu. Vana wataipa zvigaru bad. Who were delaying our struggle. Today we are still talking of removing 𝗧𝗵𝗿, which we should have removed in 2002. Guys. So all these are the results of bad governance. Atina urumende munyika medu. We've got, these are the results of wrong and oppressive government, which create resentment in the mind of the people. And the people, when the people rise up, they are violently crushed. 𝗧𝗵𝗿. And in Murugona. 𝗧𝗵𝗿, for the past 42 years, they crafted wrong policies that resulted in what we are witnessing today. We cannot challenge their wrong policies. They will use the security agencies against us. They will kill us. And in Murugona, when we say wrong policies or bad policies or bad governance, we are talking of a group of thugs like those we see being headed by Emmerson Mnangagwa. And these thugs, they sit down and plot excessive taxation on you. pamusoro pema toll gates panenge pane 2% road tax. Munhu wese vanenge vachitora 2 cents per every dollar. Imagine muno mu UK mune 68 million people. When I take 2p per every dollar, kana one $100 momwe, 20 pounds inenge iri yangu. Kana one 200 pounds momwe, 20 pounds inenge iri yangu. Sorry, 20p inenge iri yangu. And then 2%, 2 cents per dollar. Kana one $2, 4 cents ndezangu. Kana one $10 or 10 pounds, 20p ndeyangu. Saka kana one 100, zvakureva wati 20 pounds ndeyangu. Very simple mathematics. Saka ukaruza mari iyoyo, such amount of money, if you lose it per every person, you will find that these are greed people. And when they do that, they go and hike prices of commodities. They hike prices of commodities. They hike prices of commodities. Kana vachinge vahike maprices ema commodities, kunenge kune tax futi koko. Chingwa chaunotenga otaxwa, ukatenga mafuta otaxwa, ukatenga. So you will see that Maria unoshanda 3/4 goes to the government. Unosara une quota muhomwe. Ya isingakuitire kana chii. So at the end, vanhu ivava same greedy people. They send my youth militias again kuno kutwasura. Hanzi vadzise gwara remusangano vatwasure all sections of society. Kunenge uchinzi endai munovatwasura. Kana kuri kuvarova endai munorova. Ande murova. Ukapinda munyika yakada seZimbabwe kana une dzimwe nyika, like I don't know why rural people keep voting ZANU-PF. As I mentioned yesterday, I was talking about the armed struggle yesterday. How the people of Zimbabwe suffered in the rural areas. But those people in the rural areas, vazhinji vacho muZimbabwe, takatotama kubva matown tichienda mumarural areas, vanhu nedzimba mumatown. Amene chinochinja kuti kana wabuda mutown wakumusha ubva uvhotera ZANU-PF. Kusvika yakutonzi this is a rural party in our country. Haife yakawana mumatown haiwine. Inongowina kumusha. But vanhu vacho vari kumusha ezvinezvi currently are people who moved away from towns, who went back home kuma rural areas. And I don't understand why they continue to vote ZANU-PF. Because if you go kuma rural areas, those are deliberately neglected areas. They were never developed by ZANU-PF. Hakuna tara, hakuna magezi. Vakamboya kuma 2000 wakati rural electrification hatina kuna kwa yakaenda. Today when they talk varukutaura hanzi parliament yakavakwa na ED Mnangagwa, ndikati no. That parliament was planned kuma 2013-14 nana Mugabe. Nana Kasikuwerawo kuti ivakwe. Ikatanga kuvakwa kudhara. Mnangagwa angozongouya chete but yanga ichivakwa kwakupedzisa. Saka they want to get credit of things that they never did. And the problem is today we have got, they are rigging you in the rural areas. We know rigging has been done. Regai nditaure ndichiti anzwa nekumaruzevha vamwe vacho vakafa brain plus kushaya dzidzo. Ndosaka muri kuona atete Alice ndichitaura kuti inini qualifications andinawo. Ndakatanga kuita bookkeeping and accounting. Ndiri kuprison ndabva kutraining depot. Ndaenda kuchipinge ndabva kuchipinge ndaishanda muaccounts department reboard of management. Ndiri bookkeeper. Ndikabva hapo ndikati with my bookkeeping knowledge chireka ndiite risk and loss control security management. Ndikanoita advanced diploma security management. Kukasanganisira bookkeeping and accounting. Ukandipa ma books of accounts kagara panapa ndoto kubalansira ma books of account ndo balance ini. Ndogona enter ma transactions, ndogona create wana ledger ndo create. Wana balance sheet vase ndinovaziva vaya. Mana bank reconciliation statement norova zvese zvazvi. Kana ndapedza basic accounts dzese dzendapedza ndozopa accountant o verify ozononyora ma financial reports ekupedzesera aya. But zvimwe donkey work yese inoitwa ma accounts hapana chandoziva. Chasingazivi kuchengeta wana pet cash, what goes into there, kuzoisa kuma books of accounts zvese zvendorova zve. I am a qualified bookkeeper. Ndakatoita level 4 Pitman accounting pa Spaces College. I am a qualified bookkeeper. Ndagara panapa. Ndikabvapo ndikati why can't I just do security management? Ndonoshanda mabank with my knowledge ye bookkeeping. Ndobva security management. Kana pabhanga ndikadzokera kuZimbabwe hapana bhanga rinondinyima basa ra security manager. Ndinongosvika nizipinda pano basa iri mabhuku aya rova ibasa mukoma. Itai ma contingent plans ecompany kana zvadai tunoita sei, kana disaster yakatiwira toda ko vanhu vakauya tikarobwa pana tunoita sei. I know everything. I know what to do. Andiona. Ndikabva apo ndapinda mu UK. Ndakati no. Zvandakaita kuZimbabwe zvakakwana. I worked as an instructor, weapons instructor. Hauna pfuti diki yaunondipa yandotadza kuridza. Hapana pfuti yandisingazivi dikidzi, hapana. Ndakaridza zhinji dzacho dzese. Ndapinda muno mu UK ndikati ndakuda something chekuti chiri scientific. I want something scientific chekuti pandosvika vanonzi ndo vakuru vanoita zveDNA yavo. Ndobva ndaenda bva ndanoverenga ndikaita degree forensic science, applied science and forensic investigation. Ndakutanga kuti applied science munhu andodzima pana. Ndikabva apo ndikaita masters. Ndikabva apo ndikanoita degree teaching kuti kana vana vekuzvikoro vachida kudzidziswa science dzacho ndonoticha. Vakada kudzidziswa physics ndonodzidzisa physics. Vakada chemistry ndonovadzidzisa. Vakada maths ndinoticha idzi ndonovadzidzisa vana ivavo. Andibona. Saka you find kuti ndine zvandaizviitira izvozvo. Izvozvizvi mukauya mukanditi munhu akuwara panapa chiremba wako wanyora madoctors ndonetsana nawo madoctors kuti mushonga wamanyora haushandi. Kana mushonga wamanyora ni side effects munhu yani akadai munhu anofa. I can utilize my forensic experience whilst doing nursing. Andimona. Saka ndine zvinhu zvokuti kana ndikamira panapa hazvisi material. You can't find those things. They are not material things. But there are things that are in my brains that I've fattened my brains with. Andimunzwa nyaya ndikutaura. Saka sachi munhu akaita seni kwanzi umwe anotodzima applied science vanodzima vanhu panapa. Vanodzima. Because ndikasvika panapa ndikati H2O pana ndodzima panapa. But kana ndikatanga ndikati H2O ndakutomwa. Kabvunza munhu kuti H2O chi. Ndopanozo ndatomuratidza kuti ndo H2O iyi. My elements are 2 hydrogen dziri neoxygen zvakaita bond together to create what I'm drinking. Ndikupa hydrogen yega ndikati inwa unofa. Asi ikablenda neoxygen ikacreate mvura ukamwa unopona. Ndikakuisa oxygen ipapapa yakawanda wega oxygen unorova pasi. Anditi mona. If you don't know, you don't know. Kuarurwa avatoziva no. So what I'm saying here is I'm trying to show people that we've got incompetent people running the country. When you are incompetent, this is why you do what we call misgovernance. Because you are incompetent. Vanhu vari muzano ezvinezvi, vanhu vari incompetent. These are thieves who are just bent to steal the resources of a country. Andimon. This is why you see they use excessive, tactless, they apply excessive, tactless use of force to put down even peaceful protests. The reason being they are incompetent. Musaka mambodzana achitaura ndikati ndingatadza kuitonga here Zimbabwe. Can I be the president of that country? Because I've got competence that can assist in the running of that country. Pindai Mkoma Jacob. And Mona, those incompetent people, they used their misgovernance to impoverish Zimbabweans. Those greedy, incompetent people, they used their misgovernance to destroy our country. They destroyed our country. This is why you see we are being banned. Ngoma Tawanda Murudi. Trikupiswa ku South Africa. Nevanhu vasingagona kunyora mazita avo. If you ask those people in South Africa, they ask you, are you a Zimbabwean? What? Yes. Are you the most educated people in this continent? What? Yes. Oh, what are you? You go back home and eat your education. Leave us because we are not educated. You come to this country to grab our jobs. Those jobs that require use of brains, you have grabbed all of them. Andimona, saka murikuona, at the end, Zimbabweans, we suffer political violence in our country. When we go to South Africa, we suffer xenophobia. So that xenophobia, to me, is also political violence. Because the opposition in South Africa are not supporting the killing of Zimbabweans. Only ANC is a political party that is supporting the killing of Zimbabweans. Because Mnangagwa has told ANC, kuti vanhu variko ikoko ndeve opposition vakatiza kuno. So kill them there. And in so if you see political violence, especially in South Africa, is as old as that nation. In Zimbabwe, political violence is as old as Zimbabwe as well. Those are true to our jail. But those forms of political violence, they began to feature significantly soon after 2018 elections in South Africa, where those people were trying to force those Zimbabweans who are there to run away from South Africa and go back to face an impoverished nation, a country destroyed by incompetence. ANC and ZANU are the same, definitely. So this is why you see ANC youth, that idiot who goes around say Dudula, Dudula. And the ZANU-PF youth who are being led in 𝗭𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗃, they behave the same. They don't want to accept that they've got incompetent people running these countries. South Africa is under ANC, an incompetent government. Zimbabwe is under ZANU-PF, an incompetent political party government. So if you see those people who suffer from incompetence, they are the same people who perpetrate political violence against opponents. And their government won't provide security to the people of Zimbabwe. ANC government will never provide security to the people of Zimbabwe. After being butchered, the ANC has sent police on the streets to say, oh, go stop all those cars, those being driven by Zimbabweans, impound them, tell those Zimbabweans the jobs are over, and let the Zimbabweans go back home. Yes, this is why I am saying South Africa is incompetent. What we are facing today are results of even that 𝗦𝗲𝗰𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗁, who said in 2008 that there is no crisis in Zimbabwe when we were being butchered by ZANU-PF. But I also blame Zimbabweans that when Mbeki said that, we knew the truth what was happening to us. We never took remedial actions against the statement of Mbeki. We left everything to 𝗖𝗲𝗄𝗃 to say 𝗖𝗲𝗃 be the spokesman, be the actor, be this and that. And we overburdened 𝗖𝗲𝗃 to the extent that 𝗖𝗲𝗃 was running in every office trying to knock sense into those people. What were the results? 𝗖𝗲𝗃 was poisoned, and today we just say a hero, a dead hero in 𝗖𝗲𝗃. Definitely could. We are not safe everywhere we go. Atete Alice, anzi Dudula sungirwa nhasi nenyaya yakapara 2018. It's just formality, because now the world is demanding. We have raised this with the UN, with everybody. So the ANC is trying to cover up. You just go to court and get a bail. After getting a bail, you go back to Dudula. He's not going anywhere, that gentleman. Believe me. He is a blue-eyed boy, 𝗭𝗶𝗺𝗯𝗯𝘄𝗲. So you find that this is why you see even Ramaphosa cannot grant Zimbabwean security. He cannot. He is using those army. He is using the police against the people of Zimbabwe in South Africa. So, if you look at that, General 𝗧𝗵𝗍𝗃𝗲, so the problem we have is ANC is the one that is sponsoring Dudula. And its youth are just like ZANU-PF youth being sponsored by ZANU-PF or by the government to do all this violence. Saka murikuona ndosaka muchiona maZimbabweans when they cry vanotati vanochemera Zuma. This is why you see Zimbabweans, when Zuma was jailed, Zimbabweans cried like babies that our father has been jailed. Zuma angasingabvumire all this nonsense. This is why you see Zuma was a stepfather to Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans today, if you meet a Zimbabwean in South Africa, talk to that Zimbabwean, he will tell you that we miss Zuma. Zuma was a father par excellence, who made sure that Zimbabwean, this is during Zuma's era. This is why when a lot of Zimbabweans went to South Africa for jobs. That was Zuma's era. But Zuma used to protect Zimbabweans. He loved Zimbabweans. So now don't before vakadzi vake Zuma hana muZimbabwean here pa. Ameno. So the violence being perpetrated by ZANU-PF in our country and ANC in Zimbabwe, it is working well for them because they are the ones sponsoring this violence. What they are just getting here is to keep, they're just keeping themselves in power by use of this violence. This is why I am saying it's political violence. I don't call it xenophobia in South Africa. Because if it was xenophobia, even the opposition in South Africa would be killing us. The Malemas would be leading people to kill us. But it's because we are only being killed by ANC supporters, not EFF supporters, not what's this guy, Mamaime supporters. We are being killed by ANC supporters. If you go to Zimbabwe, you are killed by ZANU-PF supporters. I don't call it xenophobia in South Africa, but I call it political violence. That means whatever ANC is doing to us, I don't know the reason why ANC is killing us. Because Dudula is ANC, has been sent by ANC to say flush out Zimbabweans. I don't know what we have committed to ANC. They are not safe. This is why I am saying, if possible, rather than Mnangagwa sending buses to collect Zimbabweans across the country for a political rally, why can't Mnangagwa send all those buses to go and pick up Zimbabweans? Because as I am talking right now, Zimbabweans are outside and there are floods in South Africa. Their property has been washed away by water. They've lost even documentation. Guys, I've seen children outside when it's flooding like this. South Africans cannot take them inside their homes because if you have got a house, you need rent. These guys are no longer working. They can't afford to pay rent. So they've got no roof over their head. United Nations is quiet. It's so pathetic. It's so painful. Look at those ZANU-PF looters, the likes of 𝗦𝗁𝗁𝗄𝗏 who went down South Africa. They've got mansions there. They're living in their mansions. Whilst those people they looted from are being thrown away from 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗰𝗶𝘀𝗲. Looters living large, home and abroad. Zvinofana kunoka sense into you and me that ZANU-PF must go. No matter what methods we are going to use to force ZANU-PF out, we want a government that is competent enough. We want a government that knows that this country belongs to Zimbabweans. It doesn't belong to a family. We want a government that does not harbor greed people. Those thieves, one wasinga gute mari. Andini mona. Nosaka muruna tukuchema. This is why you see, today I'm not even in a mood of being happy. I can't be happy when my people are suffering in South Africa. Zvinorwadza. I understand, Miriam. It's so painful. Even by cyclone idai yatakarwa naye, the South Africa had to send the army to assist us. Mnangagwa failed to send our soldiers to kufukunura vanhu vakafusirwa vakaenda nemvura. And we have got incompetent people leading the government, masquerading as government, a gangster which is masquerading as a government for Zimbabwe. And Saka, as Zimbabweans, we must demand that ZANU-PF must step down, that Mnangagwa must step down, that these gangsters must leave our country alone. Because as you are seeing, when Mugabe left, we thought Mugabe was the only had this violent nature, the way he was nurtured. We never thought that there is Mnangagwa who is introducing new dimensions of violence, which are worse than what we went through in the hands of Robert Mugabe. Mndara atotakura masofa ndo chokwadi ne red carpet. If you tell the world that when there was cyclone Idai in Nyanga, the president of Zimbabwe utilized a helicopter to carry sofas to go and sit comfortably on top of dead bodies. And he had a red carpet that was laid for him to walk towards a place where dead bodies were buried underneath. If you say that to the world, they will think you are lying. Guys, keep this video for the next generation, 1,000 years to come. people should understand, or those people who will be there when we are long gone, must understand that we had a president at one time in Zimbabwe who attended a cyclone Idai scene and carried sofas, carried the sofas to go there with the sofa. A helicopter flew sofas there and a red carpet. A tent was pitched, a red carpet was laid, and the sofas were put in the tent for him to sit on top of dead bodies which were buried underneath by the cyclone. If you say this, in 1,000 years to come, people would wonder, people would ask themselves, what were the people of Zimbabwe doing that time? What were they saying? Why didn't they just ungana pana munanga gotanga kumurova ripapo ari mutendimomo? Generations to come will ask these questions. Why Zimbabweans just watched Mnangagwa laying a red carpet on top of buried corpses, washed away by cyclone Idai, flew a helicopter full of masofa, rather than flying that helicopter to pick up those who survived to take them to hospital. Instead, both bridges were destroyed, roads were destroyed, but they had gas to fly a helicopter full of masofa and set on top of buried corpses, buried dead bodies underneath. So we are going to be asked posthumously by the future generations what 𝗕𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗲 was doing, what 𝗦𝗲𝗰𝐺𝗃𝗃𝗲 was doing. Kudzai Arnold, what were you doing about it? You guys went there, muchiwombera maoko, muchiudzwa kunzi tapuwa mari chaiyo na America, to show that he was not even confident with the money that is running his country. Hands apa muground nechikoro, pachikoro paive nemba yakatorwa nemvura kana kunyara. It's so pathetic. We are going to be asked posthumously, what have you done to stop Mnangagwa madness, to stop Chiwenga madness? Hanzi tutapuwa mari chaiyo na America. Saka aradza yese ari kupai muchinzitai zvakati haisi mari chaiyo, and you are being conned. So we are going to be asked, Skumile, children, grandchildren are going to ask us, what were these madalas doing? Mana Yuda maikochena musoro muchiombera munhu akagara pamusoro pezvituna. So quite a lot of questions that we are not going to be able to answer posthumously. And today, if you look at political violence, it is the single biggest threat even to our elections, single biggest threat to our survival in South Africa. I don't call it xenophobia in South Africa. That is political violence. But if it was xenophobia, all South Africans would be involved. But it's only ANC supporters involved, being led by Dudula, the ANC youth. So this political violence as well, it will impact on South African elections. It will impact on our 2023 elections. Because ZANU-PF has failed to democratize our country. And they failed to implement a democratization process that would allow a free and fair election in our country, that would allow every Zimbabwean to participate in our country. Vanhu vari muZimbabwe vanotosvika kuenda kunovhota, hanzi tinorohwa. Vanhu vari kumaruwa vanotosvika kuenda kunovhota, hanzi tinourawa. Vanhu vari muSouth Africa vanotosvika kuenda kubasa, hanzi tiri kuurawa. Vanhu vakazvivharira mudzimba, kutaura kwandiri kuita kuSouth Africa. Vari kupona nechingwa nemazoe nemvura. Dzimba dzavakazvivharira dzoda rent. For you to pay rent, you need to go and work. South Africans are not going to accommodate you for free. And they say, because you can't work, murushka kuurawa pansi. You're going to be driven out of those houses. Definitely this is too much, Mangwenya. This is too much. ZANU-PF has surpassed the brutality of white Rhodesians. ANC has surpassed the brutality of the apartheid South Africa. Vana PW both avana kubva vambopisa vanhu like what we are seeing in South Africa. Avana anambona during apartheid taivepo taizviona. Apartheid yakaitwa tichiona kai. We saw half of the apartheid. We saw it before South Africa gained independence. And ukada kuziva much about what was happening in apartheid, verenga book rakanzi down, rakanzi chikorera rakaita ku literature, the mara bastard. You guys hanzi down second, rakanzi chiko book ra ndakurikanga romani. What was that book called? Down Second Street. Imi book ratakaita rakanyorwa ranzi kumara bastard, mara takaita ku literature. In Form 3, Form 4. Down Second Avenue. What is you? Down what? I've forgotten about the topic of that book. Ratagata literature about South Africa. Ratagata Zumara bastard. Mgoma Raymond. How do we come together as Zimbabweans? When we've got people like 𝗖𝗄𝗄𝗵, when we've got people like Douglas Monzo, down Second Avenue. Yes, Miriam, thank you so much. Munagaita literature akaverenga book rakanzi Down Second Avenue. Ndakariita pa literature in kuchikoro. You can understand how apartheid was being applied by the South Africans. Vana PW de Klerk, vana bother. If you read Zirimomo, nezvatiri kuitwa nema-South Africans today, ku-South Africa wachifamba unongobatwa pahuro, hapana munhu anomhanyira kuno kununura Rivonia. Hakuna munhu anokununura muSouth Africa, hakuna. Unobatwa pahuro osechwa, otorwa chikwama, otorwa foni, zvatopera. Uchizvifambira kana wakabata foni yako, munhu anongoenda kugotsi kwako kubva kuti bara mugotsi, ototora achi yarakanyona 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 down Second Avenue. And this was that's the spelling 𝗃𝗃𝗃. Yeah, it was written by 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃 down Second Avenue. Takarita kule indakaita down Second Avenue. Ndikaita The Lion and the Jewel by Wallace Soyinka. Ndikaita rakanyorwa na Charles Dickens rere Rana Piggy and the Rana Piggy rere. Ndoma bhuku andakaita ku literature. Ana atete alisi zvinhu zviri kumusha kwedu zvorwadza guys. Sunday pane mukadzi akafa cause of the poor roads. Nhasi umwe abarira panze pachipatara pamaruzevha ikoko. Ndarwadziwa nemukadzi akafa neambulance. Ambulance aendeswa kuchipatara nenhumbu. Ambulance ibva yabheuka achibva afa. Animal farm ndakangoriverenga handina kuriita. Shaka the Zulu, blood so cruel, genetic curse. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, for 4 decades, Zimbabweans have been under this brutal government. And when we thought Tawana, the Lion and the Jewel of you, no shame, CD. The Lion and the Jewel. That's what this 𝗓𝗄𝗄𝗃 says to defy Wallace Soyinka. So for 4 decades, only one ambulance, and that ambulance was involved in an accident and killed a patient. Imagine either transfer to a different hospital. Then they say, I don't know. Guys, can you vote for me to be president of Zimbabwe? That is my question. can you guys vote for president? If you vote for me, when I'm saying, can you guys vote for me to be president of Zimbabwe? I mean, can you vote Nelson Chamisa? By voting Nelson Chamisa, it's like voting 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃. Can you guys vote Nelson Chamisa to be president of Zimbabwe? Or can you vote for me to be president of Zimbabwe? When you see pakanzi Nelson Chamisa, urukutoona pakanzi 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃. Do me a favor. Can we vote Nelson Chamisa to be president of Zimbabwe? Because we want all this to end. And maniraga naga madzangu ndanonoka kusvika pa life mgoma yuda murise Patson Chinyati zvirise 100%. Thank you Atete Miriam. By voting Nelson Chamisa is voting 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃. Because President Chamisa chandinowadira ane an ear for every Zimbabwean. He has got an ear for every Zimbabwean. I think this South African government knows if Zimbabwe managed to change the ZANU government, he will be 100% times better. I heard Malema Julius saying, South Africans, mark my words, you are going to work for these Zimbabweans. Seguru manonoga kuwe. Andidi mona. So Nkai, thank you school. Nkai district has been left without an ambulance. Their only ambulance is overturned, killing a patient. So my question is, are you ready, Zimbabweans, for 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃 as the next president of Zimbabwe? Because if you vote Nelson Chamisa, you have voted 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃. If you vote Nelson Chamisa, you have voted yourself. Nelson Chamisa has got an ear. This is why I'm saying, ask yourself, are Zimbabweans ready to vote for me as president of Zimbabwe? Because if Zimbabweans vote for Nelson Chamisa, they vote for 𝗬𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 Chigwidi. They vote for 𝗭𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗃. They voted for Flo Makombe. They voted for 𝗬𝗁𝗡. Because Chamisa has got an ear for you and me. So every time when you go to people, ask them, are you ready to vote for me? When I'm asking you, are you ready to vote for me? I'm asking you, are you ready to vote for President Nelson Chamisa? A president with an ear, a listening president with an ear for every Zimbabwean. Because if you are seeing, we are losing life unnecessarily. Zimbabweans are dying unnecessarily. In South Africa, a bobo died Zimbabwean. Asiri kurwara, ari kumuka aiswa tsvimbo mugutsi. Obatidzwa opiswa unzi musamuwane. Muri kunzwa nyaya dzatiri kutaura. All 4 decades in our country, we have been suffering. Property has been lost. A lot of people have been injured in Zimbabwe. The property that has been lost in Zimbabwe is of unknown value. Billions of dollars worth of property has been destroyed as a result of this political violence in our country, in South Africa. And Zonova ones were in Kaya win one is 24 Matabeleland rural constituencies. 20 of them are controlled by ZANU-PF. Hakuna road dziriko, hakuna zvipatara zviriko, hakuna ma-ambulance ariko. But they are expecting councils to do wonders when they are under control of July Moyo. So are you ready, guys? If you vote Nelson Chamisa, you have voted 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃, you have voted 𝗬𝗂𝗃, Flo, Miriam, and all other Zimbabweans. You have voted for yourself. So ask yourself, are you ready to vote for yourself so that Chamisa becomes president of Zimbabwe? When Chamisa becomes president of Zimbabwe, I know he will lend us an ear, as he is doing today, as he has done yesterday. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, Chamisa will continue to lend you an ear. Zvido zvevanhu zvina Chamisa. Because why ZANU-PF and ANC are intensifying violence against us, and we expect intensification of violence as we move towards 2023 elections. We have got a general election coming next year, ladies and gentlemen. In ZANU-PF, they are fighting their succession battles. We had our own succession battles in MDC, but because of the drama, we said no to it. Then we left. ZANU-PF are still fighting. They have this succession battle. In ZANU-PF, they don't believe that Mnangagwa succeeded Mugabe through the ZANU-PF constitution. And because of precedents in MDC, the same case is now being tabled before the courts. But unfortunately, Musengi anenga arikubatwa nemabhora, vanenge vari kumudhonza nemabhora, so uda kuzvitana. Andimon. So disputes in ZANU-PF are not going to end. We have ended disputes in the 𝗖𝗵𝗺. We have solved the issue of legitimacy in our party. This is why you see, where we were deemed illegitimate, we said this is a drama. We don't want these dramas anymore. We are a serious political party that needs to wrestle the country from the stranglehold of a crocodile so that we develop Zimbabwe. This is why you see we said no to dramas. Please, how are you big? Let us push for United Nations to come help us to have free and fair elections. The only way, Antios, we can have free and fair election is let Zimbabwe go on the day of voting to go and vote. Vanenge vapedza kuvota vai munoenda kumba monogeza modya motakura magumbeze enyu modzokera kupolling station. Nguva yekutanga kunzwa uda kutanga kunoverengwa kuwe. Endai munorara apo mune magumbeze enyu. Ngaaverengwe maresults makamira muchiona. Mobva apo mapuwa maresults enyu. Makuziva kuti pano pabuda maresults akati. Ma-elections ayana nyaya yuda. Kumaruzeva uko kunotoda ma-monitors ari vigilant. Yes. Ndosaka ndikutaura 2023 elections. I know kuti we expect a lot of violence. ZANU-PF will intensify violence. But when they intensify violence, tikarega kuvadzorera obvious tinokuvara. But tikavadzorera vanenge vakutoziva kuti we are not pushovers. There is no one who has got monopoly to violence. ZANU-PF cannot continue to use coercion power to silence the people of Zimbabwe. Because we will be fighting on the day of election. Kana vachiri rova ipapo tichidzorerana, that will free Zimbabwe. Yes, 𝗭𝗵𝗺𝗯𝗃, Nelson Chamisa is the only hope for the people of Zimbabwe today. Mark my words. Tomorrow you guys will be regretting kusiya ZANU-PF ichidondonga nyika zvakadai. Muchange maakutaura kuti naimi maripo vakatiratidza leader. Why didn't we go straight for Chamisa? Nyika yadirwa uchine mukaka, nyika yakutapira. Vanhu havafanirwa kurara mavhotsi achiverengwa, ndo zvatikutaura 𝗭𝗵𝗺𝗃. Zviri nani kutoenda polling station pacho yota pungwe makatarisa achiverengwa maresults muchipiwa muripo. Hands how far Africom. Africom is a military company. You know, Ramane ZNN CIO. Ndo iri kurana ZEC. But kune vari kuta take care of that. Eno ZEC yapererwa, kana kuriga kwacho ndofunga kuchatambudza. Yapererwa ZEC. Chese chayaita chabuda. Chese chayaita chabuda. Saka what I'm saying is, the good part of 𝗖𝗵𝗺 is we said no to dramas. We said no to political disputes. We solved the issue of legitimacy. Who succeed Tsvangirai? And we agreed as 𝗏𝗏𝗃 that let Douglas Monzora succeed Tsvangirai MDC Tsvangirai. Isusu sekusiwa kwatakaita naMorgan Team Alliance. Uyu Douglas akati ini ndina Trump ndapfeka bhutsu dzaTsvangirai ndikuda nealliance. Tikamutura neHarvest House nemari. Tikamutova Monzora hapana chamusiri kuda torai tumboona. Saka isusu we removed ourselves from these dramas. We are now focusing on running Zimbabwe. We are a government in waiting. This is why I've said, are you ready to vote for yourself to become president of Zimbabwe? Are you ready to vote for 𝗏𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗲 to become president of Zimbabwe? Are you ready to vote Nelson Chamisa? Once you vote 𝗏𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗲, you have voted Nelson Chamisa. So what I am saying holistically is every Zimbabwean must vote Nelson Chamisa so that we end this cohesion of power, this brutality by ZANU-PF, the brutality by South Africa. Audio census ndaiwana atete Miriam, ndaiwana audio census yekunzi kana pane vanhu 10 itaiti pane 15 panapa tione 5 vekuzopa ma results. Obviously they've started resorting to violence because they are using ANC to do violence against Zimbabweans. So they've already started intensifying violence. So the issue of political violence, even in South Africa, they are going to realize it. That the political violence on its own increase poverty. South Africans are reeling in poverty. If you go to South Africa today, you will see. They are reeling in poverty. They don't want to go to school. They are reeling in poverty. Imagine South Africa, one of the richest countries in the world, first world country, where people still live mabini. Cheka mabini kuvakaimba gara munakutogara van Soweto. What is Soweto? You understand? And they blame Zimbabweans for their Soweto things. Why tisina drones for elections? Homeboy, I have to ask you, because honestly, we should sit down and buy those drones. And on Sagatika why we don't have, why tisina? It's because we don't want to, we never chipped in for those drones. And there is no one who's coming to buy them for us. So my answer, my question still goes to you. Could you say tisina drones? And the Saga, those the answer, the question is the question just rebound. It rebounds to you. Why you ever now take a drone? Why 𝗏𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗲 does now take a drone, Raj? The question still rebound to you. Because at now what why I have to ask you. And the so South Africans or ANC and ZANU-PF must know that the suffering of the region, SADC region, increasing poverty in SADC region, the increasing of unemployment in SADC region is because of poor economic policies by ZANU-PF and the ANC. That policy would roll Zimbabweans, it will affect South Africa economy badly. South Africans, they go ban companies, loot companies, and those policies will affect or destroy South Africa. Dosaka muruva Julius angaita kuti maZimbabweans amuri kudaya, you will follow them one day and you work for them. And the mona zvinondinesa ndezvekuti even ANC have even stopped investigating the political violence. Zimbabwe, they've never investigated political violence. Those with no IDs, can they use their birth certificate to register to vote? Because many people doesn't have IDs. Imagine the only country in the world where a person is born and can grow up without a national ID. Ndakazwa izvi vari kurambidza my driver's license kunovota. Create an official document road you can drive in their national roads, but ZANU-PF inenge ichikurambidza kushandisa passport kunovhota. Andimona. Saka, it's all up to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's all up to you. Zimbabwe, it has been, especially Harare, Zimbabwe, has been a critical seat, Harare, with regard to international peace initiatives. All peace initiatives start in Harare. Elder, I want to ask, where are those police people coming from? Like those who stand to stop the rallies, are they Zimbabwean? How do they feel? 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗰𝗶𝘀𝗄𝗏, 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗃𝗄𝗏. I think you watched the 𝗦𝗫𝗁𝗃𝗃 Commission, where Jim Kunaka, a former Chipangano leader, said ZANU-PF youth would be issued with the police uniform, baton sticks and so forth. Then they will go and beat up people at rallies, disperse people. This is what, and he said, even when 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 was injured, this Takarova 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃, that's what he said. And ANC irikura ruzuro watema mu Africa. ANC, I don't think the ANC we have today is the same ANC that was run by Mdara Nelson. Ainzi Nelson ani Mdara wawo ANC uyo umsoro mchene. Takuto wakanganwa Mandela. Takuto mkanganwa Mandela uyo. Nenyaya dzezviri kuitika ku South Africa. Chavanogona kuverenga vanhu vasina zvitupa asi vachitadza kupa vanhu zvitupa vari kuda kuvhota, anopinda chete mukomana. Ngati mukomana apinde varume. Andimona. Saka uri kuona kuti ukaenda ku South Africa, the issue of political history, the issue of political violence, ukaenda muZimbabwe, the issue of political violence, zvinhu zviri historic in these two countries. Political violence kunge muZimbabwe yakatanga even nguva dzehondo yechidhara chainzi Nelson Mandela. Andro, ukatasa political violence muZimbabwe yakatanga kudhara muZimbabwe. The most marked period of political violence in our country was the ZANU-PF killing of the Matabeleland people in Matabeleland. That was the beginning of political violence in an independent Zimbabwe. When the colonial government left, I never thought that our black government would kill us in large numbers. I never thought that would happen in our country. And the Zimbabweans, we have failed to resist such killings. And if we start to resist that violence today, that means we will go into another struggle. And that if that struggle brings peace to our region or to our country, then we need to resist. Because we are no longer fighting the settlers. We are no longer fighting the settlers. We are fighting an oppressive black government that we should face head on and stop these unnecessary or wanton killings of innocent people in our country and the region. South Africa ANC must be told that if they continue whatever they continue, then they can be sanctioned. There is no South African truck which can cross into Zimbabwe. There is no South African truck or a train that can cross into Botswana or Namibia or Angola. Because once they start doing that, let's sanction South Africa. Let's close our borders to them and see where they will sell their products. And because whatever they are doing is so chaotic, we cannot expect this in 21st century, ladies and gentlemen. This must never be accepted in 21st century, where innocent civilians or innocent people are bludgeoned, killed for not having a passport. If SADC was serious about the region in South Africa, why can't we have one passport a SADC passport. If SADC is a region of Africans being run by Africans, regardless of political party, SADC must have one passport. If you want to go to Angola, you need one passport. If you want to go to Mozambique, you just need one passport, a SADC passport. You don't need a Zimbabwean passport to travel on SADC. South Africa was ticking time bomb. Wow. Because my luta mchino waka ikoko ka useless. Andru kona dofana wanaka sukwera ogara ma mansions waka mu South Africa. Wana Grace Mugabe wani ma mansions mu South Africa. Sanu PF ya luta chino waka ikoko. Zimbabwe I never mirror check Zambia own. Yes. But in ripo kamkoma Gilbert. Ripo in. I'm ready to work for Zimbabweans. Ndakambotaura ndikati vanhu vari muZimbabwe, vanhu vari muUK, we need to sit down to elect an ambassador, a refugee ambassador wedu watinoforwarda kuenda kuUN to work for those people in the UK. Unoshamisika kunzwa kuti munhu akabva kuZimbabwe ari muUK haana mapepa. South Africa munhu akatiza kuZimbabwe ari muSouth Africa haana mapepa. We must have an office in the United Kingdom that document all Zimbabweans who are here, refugees here. Those who need help, we help them in this country. But it's not a proper structure. It's very political that will assist every Zimbabwean. Because we're going to Zimbabwe, South Africa, like that in an organization, in an ambassador to UN. I mirror my Zimbabweans. All right, my South Africans, my Zimbabweans, we negotiate with the South African government. We're going to Zimbabwe, my refugees, are in Zimbabwe. Do you know what? There are refugee camps in Zimbabwe. Vanatongo gara refugee camp ya mnona iri kuChipinge. I refugee camp iri muZimbabwe inogara vana veZimbabwe. I mean ma refugees vanobva kunyika dzakasiyana siyana. I think this is what is needed mu South Africa. Kuti kana tiri mu South Africa ko createwa a refugee camp. South African government or UN yovaka dzimba ikoko location chairo. Rinenge chinozikanwa kunzi this area is for refugees. Kana uri a refugee, you are entitled for a property there and you are entitled for support. Tinosvika chete. Andi muri kuona nyaya dzatiri kutaura. So if you look at the resistance that South Africans did during the apartheid, it was characterized by violence against the apartheid regime. If you go to Zimbabwe, the resistance during the struggle war was characterized by violence against the settler government in our country. So my blacks vaita resisted that. These were, and you reason well, but no one sees in this view. You are not a United Africa. That's the problem. Atete Miriam, it's Atina. My organizations are independent, which can push this. I am telling you, if we had independent organizations, we would be pushing for one passport. SADC. Our passport I found out DRC. And those passports were supposed to be printed at a central point. Zimbabwe no central point. You guys, you don't know how important Zimbabwe is. Ukaenda ku Southern Africa, Zimbabwe is the only country in SADC in a favorable weather, in a 4 seasons. Zimbabwe I peace like DRC or Malawi. I don't know snow like wana South Africa, Zimbabwe. In a favorable weather for any development that you want to do in the world. Saka, it is the center, or the Zimbabwe must be the hub of SADC economy. Apana nyika yekuti ukadaenda ku Zambia, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. Ukadaenda ku Mozambique uchibva Botswana, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. Ukadakwenda South Africa uchibva kuZambia, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. If you are coming from Malawi uchida South Africa, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. So you must be the hub of SADC economy, as we were the hub of agricultural produce in that region. We were like the bread basket of that region. It's because of the centrality of Zimbabwe, the position it occupies naturally on the map. It makes it a very important country in the region. So kuti mabengi ma international bank and SADC bank SADC bank inofana kucreatwa. It must be built in Zimbabwe. The financial institution of SADC must be erected in Zimbabwe. South Africa must be claiming a lot of money saying they have Zimbabwe refugees. Exactly. Like what Zimbabwe does. It claims a large share. We've got refugees from Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, wherever. Vanenge vari kuma refugee camp. Imwe yambenge iri kuWaterfalls, imwe iri kuTongogara. Mozambicans aitomugara kuTongogara kwe. Do you know every month or so vanenge vachipiwa mari neUnited Nations mayusa vachienda vachinoshopa mara. Kwatoene marori akangazi UN refugees UD maumba. Kwanzi we don't like yellow tie yamakapfeka iyo said taurako. So primitive vana mudenda anzi mudenda chonzi mudende chimudara chimudende chachi. Instead mabhazi atomira kurasa Western Zimbabwe kutoita West Up. Zvinhu zvinorwadza izvozvo. Ande muri kuona. Saka we have got a problem yekuti we have got greedy governments. We have got these governments which oppress Africans. Masettlers chaicho vaive nani vaitovaka zvipatara vachivaka road vachivaka madhamu vachidiridza vanhu vachiita sei matura achizara vanhu vachidya. Settlers were far much better than these African oppressive greed idiots. 42 years of independence. By now unoziva kuti nekudzidza kwako kaita maZimbabweans, we should have initiated SADC region kuti we must have one passport. MuEurope maione one passport muno. European passport. Ukada kuenda kuSpain aubvunzwe. Hakuna visa raunoda. Why should we keep borders and visas? Hanzi intongogara vanotorarama life iri better than ordinary Zimbabwe. Yes. And so this is the issue, ladies and gentlemen, that we are talking about. That we need to sit down as Zimbabweans. But time is flying. I don't know when are we going to sit down as Zimbabweans to say, okay, fine, let's have an organ that will engage the UN, an organ that will engage the SADC, and that same organ must engage SADC, must engage the UN. When we are engaging SADC, we talk issues of borders. Why are you allowing this? A Zambian could agare in Zimbabwe and a foreigner in Africa. Imagine. A Zimbabwean who garam South Africa and a foreigner in South Africa. That thing must end. It must end. If we can integrate the whole region into one country and have one president, Nelson Chamisa, I would welcome that. That's the problem we have. Welcome, Koma Kila Chirandu, Kudita, welcome. That's the problem we have at 𝗬𝗁𝗄𝗏. What happens is, people like 𝗘𝗏𝗿 with ideas, they have got no power. We are not in a decision-making board of an organization. Thanks, Mkomong. Thanks very much. Takarwa yero irurambizo parliament. Yes, we used to have all levels. Makambrijaya. That's true. So people with ideas do not have power. The ideas that we have, I've got ideas of bringing all the presidents of Africa or SADC on one table and start asking them, is your skin different from mine? Are your eyes different from me? So why are you maintaining the border? Why can't we have a common passport in SADC? A common passport. Akaproduce ma passports munhu anotenga ma passports otenga mari yoendeswa ku SADC bank. We must have a SADC bank. Rekuti kana takuda mari, nyika dzoda mari dzinoenda ku SADC bank unokwereta mari. You don't go to European bank. European bank is for Europeans. Tinenge tine regional bank. Rekuti ukatenga passport iyo ikaprintwa ukatenga mari inoenda ku regional bank. How many South Africans are there? Passport at $70, $70 US. How many Zimbabweans are there? And that bank will make money. Nyika zino develop. And it mona. Nyika ino develop. Saka tine problem. Animona wana wakada sana prince. As prince marenga. Anzenda unorara. Every day on live you don't have time with your family. Around this akuvene time in a family. Amenda atu around family yipi and sina time na. Every day I'm live on Facebook for 2-3 hours. A day has got 24 hours. If I take 3 hours, I've got 21 hours with my family. I don't know which time he wants to give me with my family. I've got 21 hours with my family. Out of 24 hours, I just take 3 hours a day to engage the people of Zimbabwe. So these are useless people. Watashitaura vaive. Vekuti kana muri pachoto, muchigara matare enyika. Ava munotenda munofudzora mbudzi wafana. Because haana chaari kutaura, haana chaanoziva. Every day, God gave me 24 hours a day. But 24 hours a day, akandipa 8 hours dzekushanda. 8 hours dzekushanda. Andidi. Pa 8 hours dzekushanda, nosara ne 16 hours a day. Pa 16 hours a day, ndotora 3 hours dzekuingenja nyika yangu, chidiscussa Zimbabwe yangu. Ndosara nechi ne 13 hours. 13 hours idzodzo ndedzevana vangu nemukadzi wangu. So I've got more time with my kids, more time with my family than the time I have with the Zimbabweans. So I also need to give Zimbabweans time with me. I've got 13 hours that I spend with my family. As you don't, no, I need to teach him. I'm not answering him, but I am teaching him. I've got 13 hours with my family every single day. As kwanoda kugudza time nemhuri yako, pamada ndiyo ile time. Ngambonipa mai vake nimboita time now. Prince, imbonipa mai vako, vanokuudza kuti baba vane time now. Imbonipa mai vako, vanokuudza kuti mudhara Yudha vane time. Imbonipa mai umboona. Vanobva vakuudza. It's nice, pamada kundipa mai vake. Akandipa mai vake nimboita time now. Ndo panonyazoziva, vanomuudza kuti mudhara ane time yako. Ationa. It's easy. Kana achifunga kuti hana time nemhuri yangu, pa 13 hours ndotora 3 hours ndopa mai vake. Papa vanozomutaurira mai vake kuti nondiurayisa mwanangu. Asibomaseka. Honestly, kana munhu achifunga kuti hauna time ka, ngaambokupa mhomzi wake. Nomboita 3 hours now. Every day 3 hours. Ndoba wachazoudzwa chokwadi kuti mudhara ane time. Mudhara ane time. Because ndine 13 hours with my family. 13 hours. Ndine 3 hours yemaZimbabweans. Adidona. Prince ngonza mhomzi wako, unza isa number dza mhomzi wako. Ndowapa 3 hours. Ndotora 10 hours ndopa family yangu. Iwo ndowapa 3 hours. Ukanona nchiya live, ndino apportiona, ndoita inonzi apportionment. I apportion my time. So much time with my Zimbabwean people community, so much time with my family, so much time at school, or so much time at work. And on. Second, enough time, don't worry. Don't worry. Then you teach him via his mother. Exactly. I want him to learn from his mother, from her mother, from his mother or her mother. I don't know what murume adomukadzi. Saka zvakanakira izvi. Mai vake ndo vanozomuudza manje kuti iwe mudhara ne time well usamuderere. This is why uchiona achispenda 3 hours talking to Zimbabweans. From there, otora 13 hours, otora 16 hours with his family. 8 hours kubasa. Saka usamutyira. And this is blend of time that I have. So I can teach you how I have time with my family through your mom. I can tell him. The baby, we are pano. Oh, that baby, we are pano, baby. Ugona mai vake muroad baby, we are pano. Ne 3 hours newe. Kana ida kuenda kuhotera tonobuka kuhotera. Neta 3 hours naye. Andide mona. So let's go. I'll ring your mom. I will have time with your mom. Don't worry. She will tell you that you done it time. 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗃𝗲. So we were talking about violence in our country. Let's go back to our topic. Talking about violence in our country. My instances of political violence that have even invited sanctions to our country. Ndachinzwa anzi mazano anga achitaura muparliament kuti biti haana right yekutaura nekuti akaunza masanctions. No, the problem with some ZANU-PF supporters is they have learned to normalize abnormal things. When we do normal things, when we tell them we want this as normal things, the unfortunate part is they lack understanding. Their lack of understanding is through incompetence. They are not competent enough to understand. Mentally, they are not competent even mentally to understand the things. So if they see BT invite Wakuya to make some presentations, they don't see Mnangagwa going to Russia. We only saw Mnangagwa achidya pa Russia. We saw Mnangagwa Belarus akagariswa mumba mechin'anga so achipuwa chinenge mbiya chayone zvino amecha achine chagara pasi president of Zimbabwe. But what they see is Tendai Biti being invited to make presentations in America. They don't see Mnangagwa achidya keke nema Russians. They don't see Mnangagwa akagariswa pasi ku Belarus achipuwa zveun'anga zvo zvinhu zvaipiwa zvinenge zvechisatanist. They don't see that. I didn't want. Saka nyaya yatiri kutaura iyo is a very simple matter that incompetent ZANU-PF supporters and ZANU-PF leaders, they don't understand this. That the impact of their actions is what we are witnessing in South Africa. The impact of ZANU-PF actions is what we are witnessing in Zimbabwe. And this has been built for 42 years. This incompetence has gone for a long time with people noticing it but not taking action. So this is the time that we must stop the political violence. This is a major impediment to development of a country. So what has from 1980 kusvika nhasi, if you ask ZANU-PF people what they've done for the country, apana. Zvipatara zvakangosiyiwa nemabhunu zvatinazvo nanhasi. They even failed kurepair road dzakasiyiwa nemabhunu. Andimona. What they are good at is looting, corruption, perpetrating violence against the innocent people of Zimbabwe. These prince they are deployed to go and cause mayhem, to go and kill Zimbabweans, to go and harass Zimbabweans. These are merchants of violence that has destroyed our country to the extent that millions of Zimbabweans have left that country for greener pastures. Dr. 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗃𝗃 akachema musi wapuwa Mnangagwa achinzi atapuwa 100% increment apuwa 200 RTGs. Dr. akasvinha musodzi kuti increment yake yanga yabva pa $80 US dollars to $120 US dollars pamwedzi. Dr. akafara zvekufara zvezvo. Haana mboita mwedzi anga muSouth Africa. Asvika muSouth Africa vanorinzi hero banga. Akadii kungogara hake kuZimbabwe kwaakafara kuti apuwa $120 US a month. Changa akuendera kuSouth Africa chi kana iye was so happy about the administration of Mnangagwa. Anditi muona. Saka munhu akatoona kuti Zimbabwe yacho haichagariki kupatiza Dr. Ukauya muno muUK muno tokuratidzai vamwe vaive mashefu nana prison, vaive mashefu kuarmy, vaive mashefu vamwe vaimhanya vachiti ZANU-PF. Takatambudzwa nevamwe vacho nanhasi, but vakaitiza Zimbabwe vari muno muUK. Vari kungotsvairawo mumagaro echembere tungotsvaira muno. Andimona. Tinavo vanhu vari kuti vakaenda kuhondo muZimbabwe, vakanorwa hondo, vaitaura kuti mabhunu vadzvanyiriri. Asi vakatiza Zimbabwe vakatera vadzvanyiriri kuya kuzoshandira vadzvanyiriri. Varimo muno munyika muno. Umwe ndakatozosvika pakumutaura kuti chimbonyarara iwewe. Wakatiza mabhunu ayo ndo vamairova muchiti maBritish vadzvanyiriri ndo vamairova ka. Makuvatera wakuya kuzovashandira futi muno. Andimona. Asi ndiwo vaimhanya uchiti ZANU nguva dzehondo muchimhanya muchiti mabhunu vadzvanyiriri. Saka wazotera mudzvanyiriri anaka chinasi. Saka takati chimbomirai kutaura zveZimbabwe. Vazhinji vacho vakaenda kuHome Office mazano atikutaura kunoclaima mapepa tatiza ZANU-PF. Ukanzwa ZANU ichitaura kuti yakuisa masanctions, yakuiswa pamasanctions kuZimbabwe. Most of the war veterans who ran away from Zimbabwe, who came to the UK and claimed asylum, they were saying all sorts of things to the Home Office. That when decisions to put Zimbabwe on sanctions were made, they were made by their claims. No, Mkoma, he wasn't happy. He was forced to say that. He was happy. Didn't you see him crying? Achibudisa misodzi yekufara. Akafara pa podium paya. Akasvina misodzi yekufara. Vanatsena ngamo vakati muroerei maoko. Vanambwa vachiombera mazano. Anditi maona. Hello boy, big boy. You okay? Sure. That's my 𝗬𝗁𝗲𝗄𝗏. Ati muruzwa nyaya dzatirikutaura. Hansimbotidaidza veko honestly atete Alice zvitori nani kuti ma-political victims ezanu muye mutsvaire imimi pane ma-perpetrators of violence. Most of perpetrators of violence in Zimbabwe, they fled that country. They are in the UK. Ndaidotaura hanchatauri ndikataura zita munobva matomuziva, zita racho ndinaro panawo. And that person akatraina unesi, I don't know kuti ndinesi chaiye here. Aimhanya nezano zvinotyisa. Aimhanya nezano zvinotyisa kuZimbabwe. Akauya muno muUK. That person. Akandikarega kumutaura vanhu vanofunga kuti pamwe ndichazotaura munhu. Anonzi Moza Blaze ainzi set free. Ainzi anchazvi senema yako ainzi set free and I set free and that gentleman. Aitaura zvezano sereka ada zano. Akatouya muno muUK. Ndakatomuona pa list revanhu vakauya. Ndakapuwa rimwe list randinaro. Pakatone list more ZANU-PF coming. Vamwe vari kuuya vachitanzi tiri ma-health care, hanzi health and social worker. Hamene zvima-certificates zvavari kupuwa zveRed Cross. That guy ain't set free ani that gentleman. Ain't set free ani. Sinema yake ndikaifunga, I will tell you. Ndakamona pane rimwe list so. Ndakarwa naye ndika ha. Vakutiza Zimbabwe ava. Kutiza Zimbabwe ava. Ndikadai Home Office yaiziva vanhu vairi kupinza muUK ka. I don't think they were gonna be granted asylum or be allowed to work in this country. Perpetrators of violence. are allowed to work in this country. And ndiro kutaurirai kuti vanhu vaiva maiona vaipisira vanhu misha vachipisira vanhu dzimba vachirova vanhu, they are here in the UK. I think ndo vanhu vakasimasha motikari yangu andi murikona. But ndo zvandakataura muchiruziva gore riya riya ndaudzwa naBrighton Musonza vakandisva kuuraya mu-UK. Vanhu vakanoenda anoripotera Brighton Musonza asungwe. Ndikati aiwa guys, our purpose in this country is not to destroy. Ainzani? Exactly. Set free Mafuki's exactly. He's now a practicing nurse in this country. Mu-UK. Ukabo ansala aneneka ndanombotsvaga kana vanoziva kwaari vane nhamba dzake mumbondipa ndimbomuinterview ndimbomubvunza kuti bambo maamuno mu-UK mauya kuzotsvangura chembere dzamaitaura idzi kuti hanzi vana Shepherd vana Yudha vanani muri kupisika chembere ku-UK maakuzipisika chembere idzi. Guys, ndakatoona list racho ndikaripiwa list racho ndichazokuudzai mamwe manames evanhu varipo. Vamwe vacho vari kuya via Scotland, kune agency iri kuScotland iri kuvaunza. Guys, mukanzwa tichitaura kuti ZANU-PF is incompetent, cannot run a country, vana Set Free Mafukidza vana votiza ava kuuya hanzi ndinesi muno mu-UK. Tikati tisoda edu musimudzira mhepo, regai ashandire mhuri yake. Tikamusimudzira mhepo, even chipatara chakamuemploya chaiye muno makadzingwa doctor muno aita zvezano aiti ZANU-PF vamazimba vakanomuimbira akatuta akaenda. Doctor chiremba akarova pasi muno. Hama yaGrace Mugabe yakarova pasi muno. Saka vana Set Free vakauya manesi. Manesi taura kuti une vamwe ari pashift izvozvo ari kuwana paundi. But takataura no, haisi time, hatidi kukuvadzirana upenyu. Kutotizawo kuomerwa neupenyu muZimbabwe. Kutouya vana Set Free avo kuti vazoshanda vapisikewo chembere dzavaituka kuti vanhu vari diaspora munopisika chembere. Andimaona. Saka muregei aite life yake, achengetewo vana vake, amboona kuti zvatotaura zviya, it's not a joke. Tenge chekutaura kuti vana Mnangagwa vakabva, ZANU ikabva, Zimbabwe inenge yakutoemployawo manurses like this, muchitowanawo mapounds iwaya. But mairambidza kuti nyika isununguke. Nhasi uno maamunhu ana Set Free, maakubvisa mapamba ayaya. Imboimagina uchipinda mu-𝗘𝘅𝗲𝗿 uchidaidzirwa nechembere kunzi namama. Ndaifunga ndakamboenda kuParirenyatwa hospital nemumwe musungwa so. Musungwa anga ari so stubborn, that guy anga ari so stubborn. Tasvika kuchipatara saka ndakamusungirira neleg iron kumubhedha, ndo mutemo wacho. Anenge akasungirwa nemaleg irons kumubhedha nesimbi kumubhedha. Saka akandibva nditi nezvekumuka shefu handisi kuda. Ndikati ndikati ndira kumama, but kundimuke ndiende kutoilet apa ndiende masimba ya makandisunga nawo ndiri ngwenjere handisi kuda. Ndobva anyepedzera kunge akotsira so. Ndakazonzwa akudaidza manje, nesi manesi akati kwakanaka here, zvikanzi ndamama. Ndainofunga nijoku ka manesi kutosvika so kumvura gumbezo akaita hipi mukondo wedhodhi pamubhedha. Indakabva ndangosima manesi akati mukwasha musunungurei. Ndikati handibvumirwe nemutemo, imimi ngomuwaipai chete. Zviriko kuZimbabwe izvo, mari ndo inosiyana chete, mari ishoma. Asi zviriko zvatinongodaidzirwa muno nemachembere muno. Hey, come here man. Come, I've got a big pool. Zviriko kuZimbabwe izvozvo. Mbana yemba ndiye ndakati aiza nesi na mama. Andimona. Saka nyaya dzatiri kutaura panapa zvese izvi zvinouya incompetence of leaders. We don't have competent leaders. Mwari vakatiradza a leader in the form of Nelson Chamisa. So let's thrust him there, because zvinhu zvina Mwari mukati hapana pazvinoregera kuita sei kubudirira. Zvinhu zvaMwari zvinobudirira. Because ukada kuona kuti zvine violence iri kuitika muZimbabwe, as we go kuma elections kunongoitika violence. Mapurisa avasunga vanhu vacho kuita violence. Vanhu vacho machampion of violence ivava ndo vakuita hanzi madegree emanesi vakuuya muUK muno. Zvikabuda zvikazikanwa unzi human rights abuser, muno maakuuya kuzoshanda nema patients muno. Kana NHS yacho inomiswa. NMC yacho yaikamurejista kana zvoburiswa zvaaita ari kuZimbabwe. Aidai muno. Vanobva vatomudzinga basa. Vanobva vatomudzinga vatomudeport. But hazvina kunaka. Ndosaka taitaura kuti guys, kunyange uri weZANU-PF, kunyange uri we-𝗵𝗶𝐶 ro MDC, this is just politics dzekuti tikuda kuti nyika yedu inake. Izvenyu zvekuya muchitidimbura musoro muchitiuraya muchitiita sei izvi, imbozvimira izvi. Stop harassing people on political grounds, because mangwana you never know where you end up in. This country is not our home. Mangwana anogona kubhanduliwa swa mndege wakuenda kuZimbabwe. And this is not our home. Saka ngatigadzirisei situation yekumba kwedu, kuti Zimbabwe kana yanaka kana ukasimudzwa kanzi pinda mundege uende, unongonosvika in a safe environment and continue to work for your family. Vanhu vacho vaiti ZANU vacho ndo vakatiza ZANU, ndo vari muno. Ukawaenda kumusangano weZANU kunoseka. Kune chimpana chekutengera 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗂𝗏𝗏 chodzani chimpana cheche hanzi amene chakushanda chinenge chakaitwa kosi nejob center chakushanda chasikashande chachingo chimukuku chenyonzi mukuku cheche amene kwa chakushanda kunana railways kwa changotsvaira njanji Bloom zviri sei mwana wa atetalisi waseka nes na mama nda mama. Saka nyaya yati kutaura iyoyo yakaoma. Inyaya yekuziva kuti when we are in politics tine pambo tinofana kuengage in a civil way. Civility counts in politics. Barbarism or barbaric way of behaving when you are in politics aidiwe. So we are battling ZANU-PF because of incompetence. We need to replace ZANU-PF with a competent political party. Today we have got 𝗵𝗶𝐶. Ukada kutarisa vanhu vari mu-𝗵𝗶𝐶 nevanhu vari kuZANU-PF, neweoga unotoona kuti who should run the country. Ukada kutarisa vaMunangagwa navaChamisa, wega unotoona kuti who should run the country. Ukada kutarisa youth yeku-𝗵𝗶𝐶 neyouth yeku-ZANU-PF, wega unotoona kuti who should run the country. Ungataura here kuti chizunguzuru wacho chinonzi 𝗏𝗏 Godfrey chacha ungachipanyika kutonga cha kana kuchiti leader ma-youth aya. Can you compare chiGomwe cheche nana Obey? Can you compare Chinamasa na Ostalos kana na Mahere? Wega unotoona kuti zvinoramba kuita. You can't compare those other people are incompetent. Chinamasa akaenda kunovhura 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗺𝗃. I'm happy kuti dai ndikasangana na set free ndimuratidze kuti 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃 muUK roshandiswa chii. Kana muratidza 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃 muUK obva afonera Chinamasa ndiripo mndu mudhara zvatai kusapota muchinovhura muchikanda mabanana asi zvemabanana zviyazvi. Yuda ndaiudza maSouth Africans vanoshanda navo kuti kurwisa vanhu it's not a solution. Hauzivi kuchave mangwana. Exactly. Vana set free vanzi vakaita nursing vamunomu vakushanda vachipisika chembere. Ende chembere mumakehomhu dzinenge chiita big pool kudai unoritakura chete iroriya. Ndakatoti coronavirus yakanaka yakauya nezvekuvhara munhu. Kudhara unonge uchirifema duzvi vakuru uchiritakura uchienda naro. Avaiseka kuti munoita basa rekupisika chembere. It's getting his money now. Yoba achaona kuti UK yatinotuka iyai. Ndine dzimwe blast dzangu so anchatauri zita. Dzave dziri chef kuARMY. dzakangochansawo pakaitika zvebhora zvinobva dzapinda muuk. Ndakanzwa dzakutaura mumwe musi zvikanzi unoziva kuti zvatotaura tiri kuZimbabwe zvezve tiri takapfeka makwamba zveuniform maBritish imbwa dzevanhu handiri muno muuk now. I can see some change. Why is it maBritish havataure nezveZimbabwe the way Zimbabwe talks about Britain? Because I have been everywhere here. Asana mbozoma British achitaura about Zimbabwe. The way we talk. KuZimbabwe every corner yaunoenda maBritish akazodimbwa dzevanhu. maBritish imperialists. Kungosimudza musoro maBritish imperialists. Hanzi munomu handisati zvinzwa zvichitaurwa muZimbabwe yakazodai Zimbabwe yakadai. Saka tirimbozvitrabhula nevanhu vasina basa nesu. Ndikati mdara ava vanhu ava vane nyika ine 68 million people. They are not even concerned about nyika ine 12 million people. They would rather concentrate on feeding their people. Nosaka vachiona vachita research and development in this country, finding means and ways of feeding Zimbabwe, feeding their population. Imimi hamuna way or means of feeding your population. Mune way and means yekungotarisa kuti zviri kuitwa neBritain. Andimona ndosaka vachiona maBritish mune maBritish asingazive kuti kuZimbabwe ndekupi. Ndaishanda nemumwe musikana kwandakaenda unoticha last week. Wandaitaura naye ndikamuti, have you ever been to Africa? Zvikanzi no. Do you know where Zimbabwe is? Zvikanzi no. Muntu ene vanhu vasingazivi kuti Zimbabwe iri kupi. Asi ukanobvunza muZimbabwe chero ukaenda kuruzeva kuti Britain iri kupi anokuudza kwairi. Pose nekuti unongedzera direction kuti uko ndo kune Britain. But mune maBritish who doesn't even know where Zimbabwe is. Akakubvunza, where do you come from, Shepherd? What is Zimbabwe? Where is Zimbabwe? Mune maBritish asingazivi kuti Zimbabwe iri kupi. Muno. They don't care about you. Ndakamuti auende kumaholiday ri kuAfrica zvikanzi when I'm going to holiday ndoenda kunana Spain, Cambodia, kupi. There are better scenarios to see. Takaudzwa nhema ndo chokwadi mukoma patso. Andimona. Saka tine problem yekuti tikasagadzirisa ipapa hakuna kwatiri kuenda nenyika. Saka manzwa zvandakuchikumbiro changu kuvana veZimbabwe. Ndiri kukumbira kuti vana set free kana vachizvinzwa obvious vandozvinzwa. Taurirai Mnangagwa atumire mabhazi aende kuSouth Africa kunotora maSouth Africans kunotora vana veZimbabwe. Ndakanzwa vaZANU-PF vachiti toda kuvheta vanhu vacho vari kuuya. Ndikati hauvhete muZimbabwe. The first thing is safety of a Zimbabwean first. Hausi ndo wakamuendesa ikoko. Anditi. But there is a crisis now that needs government to government intervention. ZANU-PF government cannot intervene because havasitoda kuti vanhu vauye. Saka what we are urging Mnangagwa is stop taking those buses kunotakura vanhu vachienda kuRarare. That will never increase votes for you. Because ZANU-PF has done this for every election. But number yemavotes awo imboendai mutarise results ema-elections a1980, 85, 90, 95, 2000, 2002, 2008, 2013, 2018. These 10 elections. Muone kuti pane pakawedzera ZANU-PF vanhu here nekuti vaita busy vanhu nemabhazi. Dai pasina rigging and for ZANU-PF yaiwana kana kuti 1 million votes for my elections. Hakuna inachainowana here. Saka it's not going to change anything. It's not going to improve their standing to the people of Zimbabwe, and their record for the past 43 years has ruined their chances of running that country.
I said to remind you that it's Thursday tomorrow.
Want me to call it?
No, Mom said you have to Mom said I have to remind you that it's Thursday tomorrow.
It's what?
Thursday tomorrow.
Oh, all right, that's fine. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Ruby. Tomorrow is Thursday. Saka regaindite log off tosangana mangwana after work naye. Anzi musakangana kuti muri kumukira kubasa. Ndatenda zvangu. Morara zvakanaka. Mpana anonzi Prince uyo. Ikanda namba yamai vako kuinbox kwangu. Anzi vari kushika massive lose next year. Mpana anonzi Prince uyo. Kanda namba ya moms wako. Kana moms wako ari muno mu UK undudzwa kuti vari kupi. Ndo vaendera. Vakuudza kuti you done time. Tokubatirai pamberi nimbobate 12 ndokandauda kutoendawo. Good night, morara zvakanaka. Udzai mupana wezana anonzi Prince uyo kuti bring mom. Hey. Nimbovagara matundundu vanokuudza kuti havane nguva baba. They are depending on rigging. Definitely ayo nguva ndinayo. Handimaona angaita anzi time nefamily. Handinoona mwana wangu achitoya kuzotaura panapa kuti daddy mangwana chi Thursday. And good night wakumana, morara zvakanaka. Night night.